Hello everyone, this is Nico from Let's All Go to the Lobby. Quick disclaimer here. Unfortunately, the microphone was not in the right setting when we recorded this episode. It was in the cardioid setting instead of the omnidirectional setting. So T-Kettle's voice and our special guest Mark, his voice are actually really quiet. Apparently the mic was more toward me because I come out really well and you can't really hear them, unfortunately. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's the case. Still, hope you enjoy this episode. See you later.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. To get ourselves a treat.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Is this a sound test or is it
No, we're going. We're going. What's up? How you been?
Good, man. How about you?
Pretty good. You know what's crazy?
What's up?
We got a guest today.
We do have a guest today.
There's an introduction that way.
Yeah, that's right. This is our friend Mark. What up, Mark?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
How you doing?
Out there now,
Fantastic.
I'm living the dream.
That's good, man.
Whatever
That's
that
good.
dream is.
Mark is our fellow friend. He also loves movies. He was gonna see Dora today, but what happened?
I got home late last night, and it just a live-action Dora movie wasn't worth missing a few extra hours of sleep.
Oh,
I'll tell you
man.
that much.
Oh man, muy bien.
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
So,
I think that doesn't make sense because I think that
yeah,
means
very
good. Very
no,
good.
No
but
bueno.
no bueno. Thank you. That's what I was
Boy,
thinking of.
Oh, man.
Clearly, you didn't watch Dora growing up.
Yeah. No, I did not.
So, last week we did not
Have an
put out-
episode,
we
yeah.
did not have an episode. Nico, on a whim, went to
Vegas, yeah. My buddy David, he invited me out to Las Vegas to watch Evo, and I was like, hell yeah.
You did some filming, though, too.
I
So
did.
It was job stuff, too. It wasn't
Yeah,
just
it was.
pleasure.
It was business and pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's good.
business in the front, pleasure in the back.
Yes!
So yeah, but yeah, I liked it though. It was fun. Evo's a cool experience.
Yeah.
So people get nuts over.
Video games.
There was one guy who came up to David. Dude, I'd never seen anything like it, and David even said he never saw anything like it. He was like shaking, like fangirling over him.
Really?
Oh yeah, he could barely talk. He was like almost tears were in his eyes. He was
Dude.
like, "I've been watching you for so long." It was awesome. I was like, "Wow, man, this is cool."
Yeah,
This is cool.
so he doesn't get that often, huh?
No, he gets approached a lot,
Well,
but
like-
not like that.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, like people approach him and they're like, "Hey, like I'm a huge fan, man. Can I get a picture?" But this dude was like, tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
It was
he's the only streamer he watches.
right.
Whoa,
Right.
that's cool.
It is cool, man. It was very cool. So what else is up with you guys? Anything new happening in the world?
Oh, not really, man.
Not
we got
really?
a real long episode.
We do got a real long episode because we got basically 2 weeks of content here. Not much news.
This is the first time that you've watched more stuff than I have.
Yeah, I know, dude.
That's crazy.
I know. This is nuts.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego. I do the cha-cha like a sissy girl.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
News might just be something I love.
Back to you, fuckers!
So, not that much news, but we'll just get into it. Sony they keep trying to throw a wrench into the works, man. Because they've attached Phil Lord and Chris Miller to do live action Spider-Man shows.
Okay, shows?
Shows.
Where?
I don't know which network, but it's not going to be part of the MCU, obviously. Sony just keeps holding on.
So are they building up a Spider-Man for Venom?
They're building up a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, where I think Venom is the nexus of. So it's like Venom is sort of the Iron Man
And
to
then they
the.
just have like the main character of it just doing side shit like in shows and stuff.
I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing they'd make a TV show out of like kind of lesser known Spider-Man characters like Black Cat,
Oh.
Silver Sable, and like Silk and all these other people. And I'm just like, why though? Have you guys watched? There's a YouTube channel called Midnight's Edge. Have you guys ever heard of them?
No.
They're a pretty cool YouTube channel. They talk about movie news, but they talk about corporate politics in the movie industry more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they just released a video, and they use like information garnered from insiders. Like they got people on the inside, and they use like the WikiLeaks with the Sony hack and everything to kind of come to this conclusion. and they talked about the deal between Marvel and Sony and how crazy it actually is.
Is there any like specific details that they put out?
Well, it's such a long video, but I'll try and surmise something for you.
Yeah, is there one that really stuck out to you?
Yeah. So, you guys have watched the Spider-Man films, the new one. You know how Mary Jane is not Mary Jane, it's Michelle Jones.
Yeah.
And she's not white, she's not redhead. She's very different. Aunt May is not the old woman, she's very hot. There's a lot of these characters seem very different than their comic book counterparts. Mm-hmm. There's actually a very complex legal reason for that, apparently. Apparently, Sony's goal is to maintain the rights to Spider-Man forever. And what they do is whenever they co-produce, they have to produce a Spider-Man film every 3 years, I think, or 3 or 4 years. And if they don't do that, the rights go exclusively back to Marvel. Here's the crazy part, though. Any Marvel co-produced production, like the Spider-Man films or the Avengers films that Spider-Man is in, doesn't count toward those films for Sony. That's why they're making Venom and Kraven and Morbius and all these Spider-Man films without Spider-Man, is because they want to maintain the rights to Spider-Man, but they have to make Spider-Man movies in order to do that. But they can't use Spider-Man because Spider-Man's in the MCU, so now they have to use these outside characters, And here's another crazy thing. All these characters are changed and stuff in the MCU, right? You know why? Is because when the Sony Marvel contract deal is up, those characters are going to end up being contested. And then those characters will be frozen. So that neither Marvel nor Sony can use them, right? But here's the thing. If Sony uses the version of Mary Jane, of the black version of Mary Jane, who's not really Mary Jane, her name is Michelle Jones, that version of the character will be contested and frozen, so neither studio can use them, right? But Sony can still use Mary Jane Watson, in their movies.
Okay. So
Aunt May, for example, she's young and hot, right? That version is going to be contested, but Sony can still use the old version of Aunt May. So they're kind of sneakily trying to maintain the rights to these characters.
Okay.
By changing up all these characters so that when they inevitably get frozen when the contract is up, they can still use all these characters.
Well, can they use Spider-Man?
Apparently, according to Midnight's Edge, they can use Spider-Man because the version of Spider-Man that they use in the MCU is actually very different than the one in the comics. The whole Iron Man 2, he's basically the new Iron Man, Spider-Man is. It's that version will be contested, but the down on his luck kind of version, the Sam Raimi, Mark Webb kind of version of Spider-Man, Sony can still use.
Well, then why make Venom before rebooting Spider-Man?
Because they want to maintain the rights to the Spider-Man universe. They want to maintain those rights. Because if they didn't make Venom, then Marvel would have gotten the rights back. They have to make... Because those movies, Venom and Morbius and all that, those count as Spider-Man movies. In the legal world, they count as Spider-Man movies. So because they're making them, they maintain the rights. So Sony's be a little bitch. Be a little bitch. So this is, I guarantee you, this is one of their ways they're kind of getting around that as well. It's we're making all these Spider-Man properties, so we get to maintain the rights. Yeah.
Money off of them, so.
Yeah.
Make bank off.
Yeah, Venom wasn't such a success. We might be talking about a different story, but it was. So.
Yeah.
It was. I mean. In a certain way of success. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because critically it was not a success, but if you go by domestic box office, that movie would have flopped. It didn't. It broke even, just a little bit under, and but then the frickin' international markets just ate that shit up. Yeah. It's it's in the top 20 highest grossing films ever made. That's crazy. I think it's number 15 or something. Jesus. Because it made $800 million. Can you what?
It just goes to show that reviews and stuff like that, they don't really don't matter when it comes to the world box office.
Not the world box office. Maybe American box office much more, but the box office in China, they're nope, I don't care. I want to see a monster. The kaiju market over there is huge. That's I guarantee you that's why Venom made such.
I'm telling you, they had a special trailer or some shit where they photoshopped Venom on top of the city and stuff.
Oh yeah,
hovering over the city.
He's yeah.
And then they're what is this?
Did you not see the marketing for Venom when it came out in China?
No, I didn't.
No,
we were actually talking about that.
It was cute. It was he was like being a good boyfriend to girls and stuff like that. They did a really wholesome kind of marketing strategy for Venom.
Really?
In China, at least, like he was holding up umbrellas for people, and it was an odd turn for it, but I could see why it worked so well.
So they went with the kawaii kind of cutesy.
Yeah,
market.
I suppose. Yeah, it was more like a less monstery where he's chopping off, like biting off people's heads like he does in the actual film.
Yeah.
More so as like he's helping the old lady cross the street.
Huh.
I would have never thought that would work.
Yeah.
I never thought that would work for them.
I guess it did.
Wow.
I guess it
It
did.
made him like $700 million.
Yeah, so it very much worked. Made
Wow.
him very much work. That's
Cool.
crazy.
We could, because we actually asked about that like earlier in the show, and we're like, oh, I wonder what that would have looked like, and now you
Yeah, you actually knew. That's crazy. This is why Mark is here, baby.
Yeah, fill in the blanks.
He got them knowledge. So that's pretty much all the news we have. We got something else, but we'll talk about it when we talk about the trailer for
Yeah,
the
because
film.
when you sent that to me, I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh, you have no idea?
No clue.
Okay, but did you watch the trailer, though?
I did.
Okay, did you watch all the trailers, Mark?
Not all.
Not all of
Do
them?
you want?
Okay.
Do you want? No. Okay. Well.
I mean, we could pause it if you want to watch them all. It's up to you.
Yeah, you,
Coming soon to a theater near you.
All right, so we just watched the trailers, Mark. We got a good recap. I needed a recap on a couple of them anyway, so yeah.
Thanks
And
for
then
making me feel better.
and then check this out. Look at this. You ready for this? Oh, yeah. That's good.
I love it.
Did you know of the 193 members of the United Nations, Britain has invaded 171 of them?
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you knew every snapping fact.
I was just being polite, just being modest.
Oh, it's so good. All right. Okay, so trailer trash.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse looks good.
It looks
It
awesome.
looks amazing.
I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. What'd you think, Mark?
It looks good. It looks interesting. It's just, I mean, I love Willem Dafoe and anything, so.
Yeah, he's great.
And him going crazy was just icing on the cake, and then him with an Irish accent, it looks like, or Scottish accent, some sort of accent. It's
Mhm.
just, it keeps getting better and better from that.
And Robert Pattinson just proves why he's a talent to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love him.
Did you guys get, like, the one thing that really sold me about it, because I'm a sucker for this sort of things, is, like, I got, like, 1950s horror film vibes, like, out of it.
Totally.
Like, just, obviously, with the aspect ratio, the black and white, like, the font even, like, when it says from director Robert Eggers or whatever, it's, like, that's such a 1950s, or, like, 40s even font, and I'm like, they're definitely harkening back to those old films.
Yeah.
And that
Very
sells me.
psychological.
Yes, very Cthulhu-esque, very
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Which is crazy because you see that, but it also just kind of looks like a generic, like, isolated, cabin fever movie.
That's true. It's true.
And it's like, how's that going to play into it? It's cool.
Yeah, is there going to be supernatural aspect? Judging, I've never seen The Witch. Have you?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but because I just don't want to.
Yep.
Refuse to.
Get it?
And it seems like this might go that same route where it's like really slow burn, but then there might be something at the end. I don't know what happens at the end of The Witch. I just know that there's kind of a twist.
No spoiling.
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah.
it looks like with The Witch, it's based off of a folk tale, which is what The Witch was based off of in a New England
Mhm.
sort of folk tale. Which, I mean, I'm assuming it's the same, set in probably Maine, like all of Stephen King's
Right.
stuff is. So
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
something along those lines. And I mean, will I understand it? We don't have really folk tales in the Midwest. So.
Right. This kind of, you got a lighthouse right there, don't you, on your tattoo?
No. Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Wait, what? Oh, damn.
Look at that. You got that tattoo just for this moment.
Yeah. I saw it in the future 2 years ago.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
Memento.
You had a dream that we would be talking about this film, and you're like, I gotta get a tattoo of it. But yeah, this looks really cool, really psychological.
Yeah.
You know what this film is probably gonna be though? It's gonna be one of those films that like the layman's gonna be like, oh man, like that was boring, but then the cinephiles are gonna be like, that was amazing.
Yes.
You know, like
So, all of his movies.
Pretty much, I
All
guess
of-
so.
All of like the more modern day psychological indie art house.
All the A24 horror movies.
A24.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Midsummer is the same way.
Yeah, that one's actually like everyone loves that movie though. They didn't
That's
know.
true. Like, a lot of people really like it.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to see it, but I just didn't get enough time.
Damn.
Yeah, but Lighthouse.
Yes.
Looking forward to it, baby. All right, let's talk about the next one, The Hunt.
Which leads
Let's
into
talk about the
our
news. But let's talk about the actual trailer for the movie first. It looks like The Purge.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
It's probably maybe my least favorite of the trailers.
yeah,
honestly.
mine too. This is kind of the one where I'm like,
Yeah.
And apparently it's a social satire about a bunch of rich liberal like people, and this is the truth. This is actually the synopsis. Like, there are a bunch of rich liberals who are hunting down, I think 12 conservatives who just wake up in the woods,
Oh.
and then so like the liberals are hunting them down and killing them, right? So
That's-
the movie just doesn't look that great. It doesn't look that interesting. It looks very cliche. It looks very,
Yeah.
I mean, no, it just doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
This movie, when released, would probably have been buried under the rug. But here's the thing.
Yep.
The news, it's not getting released.
Wait, what?
It's not getting released. They canceled it.
At least for the
Wait,
time.
we just watched the trailer for nothing.
At least
I
for
guess.
the time being.
Yeah, at least for the time being, they canceled it because of the mass shootings, the El Paso shootings,
Oh.
and because Trump went after the film. So those two things together have caused the film to be canceled, and Universal is canceling it, which has caused a lot of backlash among the film community, saying like, this is ridiculous, like you should release it.
Okay.
This is more publicity than this film ever would have gotten, by the way. The fact that they did cancel it.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
So
about
maybe it is like a marketing move. Maybe when they put it to Netflix or something.
Huh.
Well, like the dictator.
Yeah, or no, the interview.
Interview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. But looking back on that, you're like, the interview wasn't even that good of a movie. It's like
No.
that whole hype was just
I mean,
for nothing.
I guess that just tells me that people want this movie to be released if they look forward to it or something like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's
They're
the thing.
defending it.
I mean, they're defending it because of, like, they're anti-censorship. A lot of people are like, oh, this is censorship. People worked on this film. You should at least let them, release it and stuff like that.
Yeah, this might be a way to get a deal with like a streaming service or
Mm-hmm.
something like that
Maybe they just didn't have enough faith in the movie to be...
to make their money back.
Yeah, and then this is a whole, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but maybe it's just a whole marketing thing. But maybe not, because the shootings did happen
Yeah.
and stuff, and, there's a whole, like, debate about gun violence, and it's a very sore subject. And there's always, like, when stuff like this happens, when mass shootings happen and stuff, there's always this knee-jerk reaction to find something to blame. And if you guys heard, I don't know if you heard this, but Walmart is taking down violent video games now. They're
Yeah,
taking, like...
I will say that they have denied that they're doing that.
Oh, they denied?
I know
Okay.
one store, I think it was in Texas, said yes, they are going to do that, but
Okay.
that was a store's own
Okay,
personal choice.
so it wasn't
They
a...
have not issued a company-wide release saying that.
Okay, that's good, because that was...
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Like, people always want something to blame, and I guess violent movies is another thing, too, but I don't know. That's just... I think it's... I don't know. I don't think they should cancel it. Just release it.
I saw what I saw of The Hunt. From a social satire perspective, I've thought about an idea like that, like how the right wing media thinks of liberals, like, oh, they just want to kill us. Like, I
Right.
can see the kind of the appeal of a satire of it, but it's also kind of a little odd.
I'm a little confused where the satire lays.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like are they?
It's just the premise. Like, it's nothing. There's probably not a lot of
Yeah,
dialogue that you
but
can extract from.
obviously liberals are making the movie because Blumhouse is attached to it, and Jason Blum's a very, very left-wing person. But it's like the liberals are portrayed as the villains, though. Like, you're not going to be rooting for the liberals, so I'm confused. What's the satire?
I
The
don't
one
know.
I would rather see Ready or Not.
Oh,
comes out, because that seems like it's not about, there's not a political, at least from the trailers,
Yeah.
a political side point. It's just that it looks funny.
It's a horror
looks,
comedy,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks funny.
And
Yeah, I want to see that as opposed to The Hunt.
yeah, a lot of people are talking about, both on the right and left side of the political spectrum, they're calling it Trump fatigue or political fatigue. Like, they're just tired of constantly being berated in films. There's actually a film I saw in theaters that has a political subplot that has nothing to do with the film, and I'm just like, why are you doing this? You know, and a lot of films are just shoehorning in political messages now, and it's like, not every film
Some
needs
of them
to
are
have.
half-baked, too.
Yeah.
They're not well thought out.
No, they're not. It's like, there doesn't need to be a political message on every damn film. Like, please stop. It's getting to the point where it's affecting the actual movie now. You know?
So I think we're all in agreement. Nah.
Yeah.
No,
It's gonna be a no for me,
it's
dog.
going to be a no, yeah.
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
That's going to be a rip. Yeah, the film doesn't look that good. And it sucks that it got canceled for everyone involved. But I'm sure it'll get released in some capacity.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will.
Like, I remember when I was a kid after the 9/11 attacks, they had one of the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
They pushed back because it was like a week after that
Oh.
attack happened, and I was like mad. And then it's like,
Yeah.
it got released either later that year or it got released eventually.
9/11 delayed a lot of things
Yeah,
and
so
a lot of movies and canceled a lot of movies too.
I'm assuming that's going to be the same thing with this one. Give it like a couple months for it not to be a sore subject, and we'll see it on like probably a Netflix.
Yeah,
they
that's-
pick up all those weird movies and then
That's what I'm guessing
Kinda
too.
look like it belonged there anyway.
Yeah, and then this movie will get a lot more eyes on it just because of this whole controversy.
yeah, and I
It'll be
mean
the next Bird Box.
it could.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh,
and
yeah.
it'll probably be like another movie where it's people watch it, it's like, oh, okay, it's either really bad or it's whatever, and then they
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Because in retrospect, you look at the interview, you're like, that movie was not worth any of this commotion.
Yeah, true.
So-
Yeah, I might have liked it more. You probably would like it more if you see it without the hype.
Yeah.
If someone says, "Oh yeah, go watch this movie," you have a better opinion on it than like saying, "Oh, this is a canceled movie. It's controversial."
Prayers to the victims, though, by the way,
Absolutely.
in the shootings, by the way, just to throw that out there. All right, let's move on to the next film. This looks great. The Irishman.
Yes.
Trailer, I guess it's the first trailer, because that last one wasn't even a trailer. It was just a...
That was my number one for anticipated films of the year.
Oh, it was, wasn't it? It was my number 2? No, it was my number 3.
Three.
Yeah.
Our top three was like just mixed up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And, dude, Scorsese slaps his name on anything, and I'm like, I am there.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Joe Pesci's coming back out of retirement for this film.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks so good. Are you a fan of Martin Scorsese, Mark?
I do enjoy his movies. I like the Silence when Tyler and I watched
Yeah.
it.
Oh, nice.
I have been meaning to rewatch Wolf of Wall Street for a good year now.
We saw Goodfellas together too in theaters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Re-release.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie. Oh, my
And,
gosh,
I mean,
dude.
obviously, Departed. I watched that.
Departed.
Yeah, love that.
For whatever reason, I never would have thought I would watch The Departed as much as I have wound up watching it in my life.
I saw The Departed as a kid, and I didn't like it. Just because I didn't, get it. And then as an adult, I'm like, that movie's amazing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Martin Scorsese. I don't know if you know this, but he needs a new editor who understands nuance and pacing.
No!
I'm kidding.
We're not doing this again.
I know. I went on a huge rant last week because there was this political commentator who wanted to talk movies all of a sudden, and she was just trashing on Scorsese's editor, Elma Schoonmaker, who, by the way, is one of the best editors ever.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what she was talking about. She's like, he needs a new editor who understands nuance and pacing. And I'm like, bitch, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Thelma's a beast.
Yeah, everyone was shitting on her.
Yeah, everyone's shitting on
Yeah.
the person who tweeted that.
Oh, is it a woman? That
Yeah,
tweeted it?
yeah.
That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, no. It sounded like you were talking about people.
No.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I got you. No, I got you.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this looks great.
Yeah, it does.
You can kind of tell some of the de-aging effects aren't done because they hide his face for like 90% of the trailer when there's a de-aging shot happening. The only one that you see is at the very end when the camera swoops around and you see him like a little younger.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't know almost anything about this movie, even from the trailer. Like, I get that there's like some sort of tie into like
Jimmy Hoffa. And,
Yeah. I get all that, but it definitely kind of looks like he's going back to like a Taxi Driver type deal.
Well, I was wondering, at least from the way it was is it like a alternate history, or is he supposed to be Jack Ruby who wound up killing the assassin of JFK?
Yeah, because JFK is very present in the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't feel I'm personally like not gonna look it up enough to like know, because like I feel like it's part of the surprise.
All I know is that what's his name? Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay.
That's all I know. And then I don't know the dynamic between Robert De Niro's character or Joe Pesci, but all I know is that Netflix spent a shit ton of money. I think it was like $170 million on this film, or like $140 million, something like that, because this movie originally had a distribution studio who said no, like they just canceled, and then Netflix picked it up and gave Scorsese more money to do like the de-aging effects, because apparently it's going to go throughout history or something, and you're going to see all three of these characters like young and old. And
is that why they are they releasing it as a theater run just for funsies, or for it to be an Oscar?
Probably
to be like an Oscar thing as well, if I had to guess. It's if the Irishman comes out in theaters and wins an Oscar, that's a huge thing for Netflix. Like that's a huge, that'd be game changing for them, you know.
Because we didn't get that for Roma.
For Roma, nope, we should have, but we didn't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that was why they didn't do it. They're just like, nah, we can't give Netflix that.
I mean, they would give Green Book. I mean, you see Green Book, and Green Book was there.
It was good, but it wasn't. It wasn't Best Picture worthy. No.
But hey, what do I know?
Yeah.
What do we know?
Yeah, right. What do we know? What do we know?
Get paid for it.
Yeah, but so you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it looks so good.
I'm so excited.
That friggin' cinematography looks so good too.
Yeah.
This is his second film, I believe, ever shot in digital. So.
How old is Martin Scorsese?
Oh God, he's like late 70s, and he's still killing it, dude. Like you get these directors who, when they get quote unquote past their prime, you know. Coppola, yeah, you start to see it in their work, but not Scorsese, dude.
Yeah.
He kills it every time.
Yeah, I think we talked about this. I think my least favorite movie of his is like 7, and that's probably like Shutter Island.
Oh yeah.
I've seen like over half of his filmography.
Yeah.
I forgot he did Shutter Island.
Yeah.
I think everybody does.
Yeah, it's a good one, but you're right, it's not typical Scorsese.
You don't really need to watch that again to like pick up on a lot of details or anything like that.
The twist is kind of obvious too.
Very. Mm-hmm. But still decent.
No, absolutely. And again, Scorsese. I mean, this is like a film lover's dream. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, I think I heard
Harvey Keitel is also in it. Yeah.
I thought he was within one of the first characters shown in that.
Was he?
That's who I thought I was, because I'm like, oh wait, I recognize that guy, and then I didn't think it was Joe Pesci.
That's what
Joe
they do.
Pesci
They do
actually,
like a lot of the like silhouettes and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
they do. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how Joe Pesci calls Robert De Niro a kid.
Yeah.
He's like, I have this kid here.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like there's like 5 years probably difference.
I know, right? Well, obviously they're gonna do
but
that's funny to just call a 70-year-old man like a kid. It's like, okay.
It's great.
Oh, that's so great. But yeah, I can't wait, dude. It looks so good. All right, let's talk about Little Monsters.
All right, I'm gonna defend this one. I think it looks good.
You think it looks good?
I do think it looks good.
What about you, Mark?
I mean, you said making zombies cool again. This is definitely not the thing to make them cool. This is like just kind of poking fun at them and like, you know.
Didn't we just have The Dead Don't Die come out like recently though?
Yeah.
And it kind of
came out this year.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I feel zombies are kind of a joke now. I mean, when was the last movie that took zombies seriously?
Train to Busan, remember we watched that together?
That's true. When was that released? Like
2016.
2016? Okay, what about American movie? When was the last American movie that took zombies seriously?
I can't remember.
Yeah. You know.
But they're going to be doing the Train to Busan remake.
That's true.
The only thing I can think of was like Warm Hearts. That was like more of a romantic zombie.
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies. I don't know if they took it
kind
seriously.
Of a comedy.
No, that's a comedy. That's totally a comedy.
Yeah.
But
wasn't Zombieland? That was also a comedy. Like, I think Walking Dead's really the only one still taking zombies like seriously.
Yeah.
And
about that.
Yeah, I've never watched it honestly, but
I mean, I'm torn on Little Monsters because I see it's an interesting, and Lupita is
I love Lupita,
phenomenal actress.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, how is this any different than Shaun of the Dead?
Right.
With just kindergartners.
The kids part is kind of funny because she's got to think on her feet all the time, like to come up with something that is gonna shelter them. Yeah.
You know what? I guarantee how this movie was made was the writer and/or director was like used to be a teacher and was like the chaperone to all these kids, and he like was having such a hard time like maintaining all of them and like keeping track of all of them. Like maybe one got lost and he's like freaking out because that's a lot of work to maintain like 20 kids.
Yeah.
And he probably got the idea is like, man, what if there was a zombie apocalypse happening right now?
Yeah.
Like all these kids would be like.
I think the variable too of having that pessimist in the room too to like, gonna die like right in front of them. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a couple chuckles out of it on the second viewing. I will admit, when the dude with the long hair gets tackled and he's like, oh fuck, like really like.
Yeah, it was just a really good quick edit.
Yeah, it was a quick edit. That part was really funny, I thought.
Yeah. I don't know, I think some of the details are pretty funny. Like it's eating the porcupine and it's just that stuck in his mouth.
That's true. I
don't know, man. I'm gonna defend it.
Do you think it brings anything new to the table though when it comes to zombie comedies? Or do you think you even need to bring anything new when it comes to zombie comedies?
Not really. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you bring that would be new?
That's true.
The whole thing is do we even know?
Like, is there an answer we can give saying? Like, yeah, I can't think of something that would make reinvent the zombie genre as a whole.
Well, we had like a huge zombie resurgence in like 2010, 2011, 2012. With like everyone was making zombie related material. It's kind of reminding me of like vampires, like in the early to late 2000s with like Twilight and stuff.
Yeah.
Where that kind of rejuvenated the vampire for better or for worse, and then there was vampires everywhere. But then they just kind of got tired. Yeah, True Blood and Vampire Academy and all that stuff. And I feel like now we're kind of in that mode with zombies, where the whole zombie resurgence phenomenon, whatever you want to call it.
Like how Aliens was before that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's past its prime now.
We go through those phases though, but I don't think
we do.
There's no reason that we can't still like see material.
Yeah,
it's the same thing for like westerns. Like
that's true.
We want to see westerns, but like the studios and stuff like that, they neglect it.
That's true. That is true.
I think we're in the minority though. Not a lot of people like westerns. Though.
That's true. No, you're right.
So I mean, it just really depends. They're catering to certain people, just maybe not us.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it does look like there could be some comedy and potential there, and Lupita's attached to it. Maybe she looks like she's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's always fun. That's always nice.
And she's prime.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had to throw that out there. But
yeah, I mean, if she's in it, that gives me a little hope too.
Yes, absolutely. So that's and then you're pairing up an Oscar-winning actress with Josh Gad, and he's always he's the funny guy.
Yeah.
So.
Something wrong with him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm
all right.
I would say I'm on the fence, but I'm not really on the fence. I'm more like I'm not really for it. But you guys seem like you're into it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No problem. I'll see it. I mean, because I saw Anna and the Apocalypse shit last year, which was a zombie movie. It's like a musical zombie comedy.
Totally forgot that came out.
Yeah, it was like a Christmas horror zombie comedy.
Yeah.
It was so many genres.
They had some good songs.
That's cool. 1917. Sam Mendes' new film.
Nah. I like Sam Mendes, but nah.
I love Sam Mendes, but it's like a horror. I mean, it's a war film, and we've seen so many war films, dude.
I can't remember. Like, okay, so Dunkirk. I mean, I like Dunkirk, but the more I think about it, like the less I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I can't even remember the last war film that I liked.
It's just, it's kind of retreading a lot of the same material with war films, and even like the ticking clock that was present throughout 1917. It's like they did that in Dunkirk.
Yeah.
They did that in so many war films
give me like a war film that's set in like the year 3045. Just some weird ass time, like a sci-fi war film.
Yeah.
And why? And this is gonna sound so shitty, but it's like we've overdone World War I and II.
Yeah.
We really have, especially World War II.
At least like Overlord last year, the horror war movie, that was like okay.
Right. Bring something new.
I didn't get to see it, but yeah.
I heard it was really good. Brian told me it was really good, and Brian mentioned, and but yeah, you're right. Like I have not seen a movie about like the Vietnam War in years, since like ever. Really.
Since it actually happened.
That's such a sore subject for a lot of people.
It is
the war that didn't need to
Plus,
happen.
they kind of like
And we lost that one.
Yeah.
They kind of hit its peak with what, like Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Deer Hunter.
Why
The
ever touch it?
the one Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
ever touch that one again? Like,
Right.
they'll never compete with the movies.
Yeah.
Do like a Korean War.
Yeah, like
Korean War.
have they ever made a movie about the Korean War?
Yeah, War of 1812.
Yeah, War of 18, Revolutionary War even.
I
Like-
get where you guys are coming from, but I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Because it's going to touch up on the same subjects.
Just weird.
That's
same,
true.
Same themes.
Mexican-American War in the 1890s. Just random wars.
I'm just tired of it, man.
No, I get you. A lot of them do retread on the same kind of formula. There's
Yeah.
there's a formula to war films.
There is.
You know, even war films that are based on true events. You know, and sometimes it can be like offensive, like Pearl Harbor. Like they took a real disaster and Titanic did, which I guess
Yeah.
they did that with Titanic, but still. And
They turned it into a blockbuster.
they did. And I don't know, man. Like this is very Oscar baity. I'll get that. So Oscar baity. It's
Yeah.
even coming out in December. You know,
Time.
but Sam Mendes is attached, and it could be good. It could be good.
Yeah, you mentioned it, and I thought it did look good. The trailer editing.
The trailer
It'll probably
editing was
get
real
good reviews. I mean, I bet you any money it gets
They always do.
and it gets its Oscar buzz and all that stuff. I'm not saying I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
I might see it. I mean, just to say I saw it.
Well, yeah. I can't say anything right now because in December there's so many movies that come out that like I want to see,
Yeah.
and those movies usually stay in for like another like two months afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing comes out in January and February.
Yeah, I feel like this is just looking forward. This might be one of those movies where there's so much Oscar buzz behind it, it might get nominated for a bunch of stuff, but I just probably will not end up seeing it. Not because I don't want to, but it's a war film is not going to go to the top of my list. You know?
I don't
Is there
see it.
any Oscar movies that have come out early in the year, or are they all just front loading for the end?
They always come out in
Get Out
December.
came in March.
Oh, Get Out, yeah.
No, Get Out. You mean
Get Out. No, I mean Get
Us?
Out. No, Get Out. Like because I was just talking about like we
don't
don't know.
Get Out came out in January.
I thought it came out in March.
January 31st.
Did it come out January? Dang.
Dang, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not talking about Us because like I don't think Us is gonna.
No.
I don't think it'll be nominated.
But in general, Oscar films come out in December.
Because it's the movie, because it's something that they'll remember. Like
Yeah,
during the
exactly.
time
I guess
Yeah.
what is
it's
what
coming out.
is a movie that you guys have seen early on in the year that could be a contender?
Well, Black Panther came out in February, and
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
talking this. I'm
nominated.
talking this year.
Oh, this year?
No.
Nothing. In all honesty,
Rocket Man.
Rocket
No.
Man. I don't.
No,
That doesn't seem like
I
an
don't see
Oscar
it.
film. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated, so maybe. But
Rocket Man was better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
yes, it was. I don't know. I can't really think of like an Oscar contender that came out this year. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you like we've
or Midsummer maybe? Do you think for like
I
at least
think so.
writing or something?
maybe.
I mean, it could have. Yeah, it could have like
Maybe
a.
writing.
I don't think it like a best director or anything
that
like
came out pretty late though.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about like the first quarter of the
Yeah.
year.
I can't
It's
think of
rare.
any. I can't think of
This year.
anything.
Yeah, no. They usually, like T-Kettle said, they come out in December because that's when the Academy starts to look at the films
Yeah, they
and
do
the fact.
they build the ballot.
Yeah, they build the ballot like in the beginning of the year. So
Oh, The Farewell, but that's a foreign film though. The Farewell came out.
is The Farewell considered a foreign film? Or?
It's a Chinese film.
Oh, really? Okay, but that might be nominated at least for best foreign film, or
Maybe.
you know,
I bet it'll be in the short list. I don't think it'll be on
yeah.
the list.
Man, there's like really nothing. I guess we gotta wait till more of the Oscar season comes out, you know, December wise. But
Yeah, we haven't really seen.
Last Black Man in San Francisco.
yeah,
We haven't seen a ton of movies
Now
this year.
that
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
I've
it, I'm
missed
thinking
everything.
of movies that could.
yeah. I've missed everything this year, man.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Catch up.
Yeah.
Endgame needs to be in.
Oh, Endgame does need to be on there, man, but it won't. It won't.
Never is.
Special effects, and that's it. That's all it gets.
And it won't even win.
And it won't even win. No. It'll be to like.
Alita beats it. Alita
Oh,
battle.
freaking! If Alita did have some good special effects, but come on, dude.
What beat Infinity War last year?
First Man. fucking ridiculous.
Oh, okay, yeah, First Man.
Mhm.
It'd be like Lucy in the Sky this year because it's another, like
yeah, it's always space movies.
Yeah.
another space movie, and you just have
Which is weird because we've been doing space effects since 2001.
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra,
Yeah,
right?
that
Yep,
too.
that's gonna be it.
That too.
That's gonna be it. That might be nominated for something. I guarantee that looks kind of Oscar baity, sort
Yeah,
of.
it kind of does.
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time. Yep.
This is we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
We really are. We really are. So 1917, yay or nay?
No.
No.
I'm on the fence. This is weird because this was an honorable mention for my most anticipated, but I was hoping that they would do something a little different, and it just looks like a war film.
Give me like American like an at-home 1917, like with like Woodrow Wilson, a presidential political something like that.
Something like
Not
that.
A
So
war
like
movie.
so like Darkest Hour.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't like Darkest
I
Hour.
didn't
mean,
see
sure.
Darkest
That
Hour.
I mean, Darkest Hour has also been done a million times over.
Wasn't that the year where? Oh yeah, they had Darkest Hour and Dunkirk nominated the same year,
2017.
and it was about the same thing.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the two different. It's the perspective thing. One
Yeah.
is actually the war.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is him, like telling them what to do.
It's like Hollywood gets a stiffy for war films, films about Hollywood, or political dramas. It's like that's when their stiffy gets erect.
Yeah.
You know, so there it is. All right, Don't Let Go.
I'm really looking forward to this one. I was actually really shocked because I thought
I was not
a
expecting that.
very generic route, and then when he picked up the phone, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
It's a cool concept.
This makes more sense for Blumhouse.
Yeah.
So it's a Blumhouse film.
It is, yeah.
Anytime you see a Blumhouse film, just say, okay, the guy goes to a grocery store, but the grocery store is actually in an alternate dimension. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
It's just like some random thing.
Yeah. Blumhouse, and they advertise that too. They're like from Blumhouse, you know. I think it's a cool concept. It actually kind of reminds me of an idea we had an assignment in college when I was in film school, and we came up with one of the assignments. We just had to come up with like a movie idea or a show idea, and one of them was there was a detective trying to solve Jack the Ripper, like his case, like in that time, and then also a detective in modern times trying to solve it as well, and then they find like different evidence and it all like crosses with each other and stuff like that, you know, like through time.
Okay.
And
when you put it like that, I'll see Don't Let Go because I want to see. I can see what he's doing on his end to like avenge them, but he's also like.
because he's trying to solve it before it happens.
Is he like conducting like his version? I bet he's
Is he
calling
trying to solve it?
himself in the past or whatever.
Oh,
and
I
he's
didn't
telling
even-
him like this is where you gotta go. Like he's probably looking for clues.
Yeah,
to,
I didn't even
like-
think of that.
Yeah,
That would be sweet. Like he actually calls himself up
yeah.
and is like, "Yo, you need to like."
And
That
if
would
that's
be
not
sick.
what's going on, again, get me in there, coach. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
bro.
I'm telling you, that would be sick. Yeah, because that whole thing of like we need to solve a murder after it happens, before it happens.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
that's the perfect time to do it. Is to like look at the evidence
Exactly.
when the crime already occurred.
Exactly, but he only has 2 weeks, so he is on like a time limit.
Yeah,
You know.
and that's what makes it more exciting.
Yes, and he's got that ticking clock, baby, in that movie.
And I already said I think I know how it's gonna end. He's gonna solve it, but it's not gonna solve anything for him.
For
It's just
him.
still gonna be
Yeah,
gone.
but then his conscience will be clear.
yeah,
and-
yeah, like yeah.
Because you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes,
right?
I did.
It's like how we went into that movie. It's like, yeah, we know what's gonna happen. It's like, well, we're along for the ride anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she actually
Exactly.
going to get off? Didn't know because it's alternate history. But like his is like, oh yeah, we know what's gonna happen. He's gonna save the girl. She won't be alive. But yeah.
We're actually going to talk about that soon because it's in my recently seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, he didn't get to talk about it.
I didn't get to talk about it last time, but yeah, it's a cool concept, and I'm down for it. I'm down for a cool thriller.
I will say you guys have turned me on to that movie.
All right,
I
there you
will
go.
actually I will see it by the way you guys explained it.
And I really like that you just explained Blumhouse as
Yeah,
like
that's what it
this
is.
mundane stuff, and then just like something
random-
supernatural
weird
happens.
happens.
That's true, though. That is true. Oh my gosh. All right, Honey Boy, written by Shia LaBeouf, which is clearly about himself. I mean, you guys got the whole Transformers thing like in the first shot, right? How he's like, no, and then like he gets blown back. That's obviously like he's parodying himself in the Transformers movies. Because a lot of people make fun of him for going no in those movies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So he knows. He knows that people, jab at him for that film, rip on him for that film.
I think it's always funny because Shia LaBeouf is playing his father essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And his father's like 50, like let's say he's 50 in the movie.
Yeah.
And like I just always think that's funny when like 20-year-olds will play 16-year-olds. So Tom Holland played a 17-year-old Peter Parker. Okay.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf is playing a 50-year-old man. I know when This Is Us, the show, like Mandy Moore played a 60-year-old mother, and like her son, like Sterling K. Brown, who's in it, he's older than her by like several years.
That's so weird.
So are the other two children, and it's just so weird to
like,
see actors.
It's like when Winona Ryder played Zachary Quinto's mom in Star Trek.
Yeah,
and they're like the same age almost.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually think this movie looks pretty good.
I think it looks good too. Again, it seems like it's very semi-autobiographical.
Yep.
And he is playing like a version of his dad who kind of like pushed him to be in this industry and stuff like that.
What I think is so interesting though is that like he's writing the story based on himself, and stuff like that, but the director of the film definitely seems like the auteur here.
Yes.
And it's like how does that work? He must have like him working with him, like just insight on his own life and stuff like that, like little details to kind of like make it pop and stuff like that. But yeah.
Director's a female actually, and apparently she is very known for like art house films and stuff like that.
But she definitely seems like she's bringing her own thing to the table too.
It kind of makes me wonder why he's not directing it. Maybe because
he can't do it all.
He can't do it all because he's acting in it too and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't have the confidence that he can pull it off.
Yeah, maybe.
But I guarantee you, he definitely has some creative liberties with this film.
It's odd to see. I don't know. I just think it's odd to see what he has grown into. Since I grew up with him watching like Even Stevens.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in Holes.
Yep.
And then we all saw him in the Transformers movies. Then he kind of disappeared for a little bit.
Kind of lost his mind for a second.
A little bit. Then he came back, and now he's kind of getting his mind back. He's in 2 good films.
Yeah,
this
he's
year.
doing like
the Peanut Butter Falcon
films.
is supposed to be a good film.
Here's a really good like feel good film.
Yeah, it's a feel good movie, like Nico just said. I mean, this movie it's kind of like a Steve Carell kind of does that turn to a more serious acting.
Fury, even he was in Fury, and he was pretty
he's good in that.
Good in Fury. Yeah, you're right. He's definitely taken a much more serious turn with his films.
Yeah.
Which
you'd never be able to separate his personality outside of the film.
I can't wait till like Selena Gomez in like 10 years does like a
I know, right?
Film or like Miley Cyrus, like these Disney Channel people.
Yeah.
I'm amazed like Chrissy Carlson Romano from Even Stevens never did like a fucking Paul.
She disappeared off the face of the earth.
Who did the fucking There Will Be Blood?
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, I'm amazed she didn't star in like a Paul Thomas Anderson film. At some, just for fun. Jonah Hill was in like a fucking David Lynch. I don't know. I can't think of just random.
Well,
Vince Vaughn switched over to serious acting.
That's true. Yep, he did.
Yeah, no, it happens.
It does happen. I can see Selena Gomez doing that much more than Miley Cyrus, by the way.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman.
Yeah.
No, he's still the same.
Yeah,
he's still stationary.
He actually had. I shouldn't make fun of Jim Carrey because he did have serious movies. He's like
he did.
Truman Show,
Eternal Sunshine.
Yes. Like he had like comedic
Man on the Moon.
Number 23.
Yeah.
I remember I actually really liked Number 23 when I saw it as like a kid. I'm like, this is a good thriller.
I didn't even like it when I was a kid. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Like,
the address is this number. What? It's to 23. It's like.
I thought it was interesting, but I bet if I watch it now.
It's kind of funny because like I kind of want to see Under the Silver Lake, and it seems like the same thing.
Right. Yeah, dude. Ebert and Roper gave Number 23 2 thumbs up. I don't know if it was actually Ebert, but I think there was a guest host, and the guest host and him gave it 2 thumbs up.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy, right?
You need to rewatch it.
Yeah, maybe if I rewatch, I'll probably hate it because I haven't seen it since I was like 10 years old, so or like 12 or something like that.
So.
Yeah. What were we talking about again?
Yeah.
Honey Boy.
Honey Boy.
Oh, Honey Boy. That's right. I was like, I thought we were on the last one.
Yeah.
So that's a C for me.
Say what?
I'll say that.
Yeah, I definitely. For me
Yeah,
too.
I'll see this movie.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks real good. We got a lot of good trailers, and this last one actually looks pretty good to me too, and that's Low Tide.
Yeah.
I forgot about it, so maybe that's not a good sign, because I saw it yesterday and I totally forgot about it. I had to rewatch it.
But you had to watch a lot of them, so.
That's true. That's true. It looks interesting. It looks kind of like a thriller, drama.
You'd have to sell it on me. Like, if you guys could sell it on me right now, like you did for
like
Don't Let Go.
It looks like the kids from like Stand By Me grew up a little bit, and they're being pulled in different directions. They took to a life of crime, maybe.
Yeah, well, he even says, he's like, you ever read comics? It's like, this is your origin story.
Yeah.
So it seems like kind of a coming of age film, which I'm usually not huge into. But
it's that point where like you could lose your innocence potentially.
yeah, I guarantee you that throughout this film, multiple characters are presented with a fork in the road, where it's like you can either go this way or that way, and it's going to explore the dynamics of like which way do you take? Like, do you take the road less traveled, or do you become what you were meant to be? You know, we don't know. You know, and it's all about choice. I
Yeah,
guarantee
and it seems like some of them are not going to stick to them. Like the one who bailed on them is definitely going to become the villain.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like
because it didn't reveal a lot about the plot necessarily, the trailer, so I don't know if we can sell it on you like as good as we can.
Because I just basically we just have a feeling.
It's very much a teaser, and it looks kind of character driven. Well, maybe definitely. I don't know. Yeah, it looks character driven more than plot driven. Although there is kind of like a thing where it's like they obviously find gold, and that probably plays a huge factor into it.
They get that moolah.
Yeah. So it's like, I guess it's all about choice, you know. Do you make the right decision or not? And how do these choices define you as a person? So
there you go.
It's gonna be interesting.
That's all we got.
Yeah, and those actors look like, I know that one guy from Alita and the kid from It. They look like brothers, so that was interesting to me.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, you guys casted pretty good on that.
Yeah, performances look pretty good. I'm about it. Like.
Yeah, you know. I'm not saying it looks great. Like I need to see it, but it looks good. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything else?
Where do you stand, Mark?
If you want, sure. I would see it with you, Tyler.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Well, we see pretty much anything with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken you to the movie. Well, you won't see Dora.
I won't see Dora. I'm sorry.
Shame.
I have too much movies to watch. Look at all this. I brought these over here because these are movies that I'm gonna rewatch.
Ooh, Life of Pi is so good. I
actually just rewatched it.
So good.
But the rest of these are movies that I'm rewatching.
What do you got? We got Master, Two Faces of January, Cloud Atlas, 12 Years a Slave, and Grand Budapest Hotel. Those are some good movies right there.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's it for Trailer Trash.
Yeah.
Don't leave now. The movie's about to come on.
Excuse me.
Hey, theater. What do you do when you get stuck on a movie line with a guy like this behind you?
Wait a minute. Why can't I give my opinion? It's a free country.
Time to go to recently seen.
So this is pretty much going to be you talking a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
I don't even know.
These I've seen before. So. Cool.
Yeah. Let's just. I guess let's just get this one out the way. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I did see it, and I really liked it. And you know what's crazy? My mom liked it more than me.
Yeah.
She loved it.
I guess I don't know her.
She has very. My mom is like, you just don't know what she's gonna like and what she's not gonna like.
Just roll the dice.
She's like a roll the dice kind of person, and she loved it. And I was like, dang, okay, cool. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm gonna try and remember what I liked about it. This is, a lot of people might not like this film as much as Quentin Tarantino's other films, because I know that Quentin Tarantino's films are very heavy. There's a very heavy emphasis on character, but I think this film especially has the most emphasis on character, much more than any semblance of plot. A lot of people might think it's boring because there really is no plot, but I was never bored because Tarantino fleshes out these characters perfectly. They're so well done. Like, the characters are all interesting and you care about them, and even when the end happens, you care about these characters, and you're like, you're still on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh god, what's going to happen, you know? And that real life incident kind of anchors the film to lead to somewhere, so you know that it's going to lead to something, but the characters are really good and fleshed out.
Yeah.
And it's really it's interesting because it's like you see these people go through like these real life struggles, and you know, we have a sense to like deify celebrities and actors today in today's world, and it's crazy to see them as real people and people in the industry as real people. And it's really cool to see like Sharon Tate going to see her own movie and kind of relishing the fact that people actually like it.
She was so cute.
Yeah, it was so great. It was so great, man.
Just 2.5 hours of just a flamethrower joke.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're.
That's what Jake said when he came out the theater. He's like, "Yeah, they built."
It was a one big punchline.
Yeah, well, big.
It was one big punchline, but I think it worked because the lead up to the punchline I thought was really good.
I did too.
Yeah, I really liked this.
There's actually something I wanted to bring up about
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
I'm gonna keep it super vague so I don't like spoil anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's something that does not get answered in the movie, and at first I was like, "Huh, that was kind of weird."
I think I know what you're talking about.
And then I was like,
and that's my
that's cool that they did that because it's actually kind of a reference to something a big thing that happened in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it kind of turned into like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
About like Robert Wagner and
Yes. You're talking about Brad Pitt's character.
Yes.
See, that's funny because when you said that was my biggest criticism of the film at first, I didn't feel like it was needed for his character. I felt like it kind of made you not like his character. But after it was actually brought to my attention that no, this is kind of a reference to something that actually happened in real life, with like Natalie Wood and stuff. And it's like, I'm like, okay, I can see that. So I've leaned up on it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if it was needed. It was a strange character decision for me. But that was like my one minor criticism. Also, in Tarantino fashion, I don't hate Tarantino. I don't. A lot of people think I hate him.
That's how you want to preface something.
Yeah, I don't hate him. Everyone's like, I know you don't like him. I know you hate Tarantino, but and I'm like, I don't hate Tarantino. I just don't lay blind praise upon an artist when they do stuff that I think is just is a valid criticism. That dude, especially in his later films, has been known to just draw shit out, dude. I don't need to watch Brad Pitt make macaroni and cheese step by step by step. Like, I don't need to watch him do it in real time. Like, I do not need to watch that. Like, Quentin Tarantino does this. It's like he just really wants to make an over 2.5 hour film, so he just pads it.
Couldn't you argue that she's showing the dog's the dog's training to him at that point?
That's true. That is true. But I feel like
I was gonna say the dog's character.
No, yeah.
I mean, well, the dog does have character.
The dog. There is a purpose.
My brother thinks the dog is the best character.
Oh, the dog is amazing. I love that dog.
Yeah, I love that.
But no, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree. But I still feel like it's dragged out a little too long, and I feel like that's Quentin Tarantino's thing. Like in the Hateful Eight, there's a gag with the door not being able to shut, and they have to nail it. That gag went on for so long. I remember I was.
They showed it twice too.
Yeah, I know. I remember I was in the theater. I said it out loud, but not like loud enough that people could hear me, and I'm just like, move on. I'm like, move on. Like, oh my god. Like, this is so stale right now. Like,
see, and you're not gonna like every single like trope of like his movies and stuff like that. Not like, I don't know. But I mean that comes with like territory on like other like directors and artists.
You can do it with any
like
director.
Lynch,
yeah,
he has the tendency to do stuff like that.
No, yeah, but you could do it with any director, and people just lay blind praise on him. I just feel like Quentin Tarantino's like he's such the mainstream director to do that with.
Yeah.
It's just like people just love everything he does, no matter what.
It's become a characteristic that, but like I don't really mind it. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Have you struggled with making mac and cheese? Is that why you don't like it?
Yes, man. I can't make mac and cheese to this day.
I can't cook anything.
No,
so.
it's actually more.
So it's more instructional for me.
Yeah, it's
right.
To make mac and cheese.
Right. It's more so than just that scene though. He does it with a couple other scenes, but that's just a minor gripe because it didn't bother me as much in this film as it did with something like The Hateful Eight. Because I like these characters much more than I liked the Hateful Eight characters, in all honesty. This is one of my favorite Tarantino films, let me be real.
Really?
I really like this film.
Crazy. So, I got one question for you.
Yeah, what up?
One of my criticisms was that if I watch this movie again, it's going to really dull the experience by knowing what happens with a certain character plot. How do you feel about that?
I haven't thought about the rewatchability of this film, but now that you bring it up, you're right. There probably isn't much rewatchability to it.
I mean, I saw it twice.
Oh, you saw it twice?
I saw it with Alyssa.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
What did you think on second viewing? Did you like it more? Did you like it less? Same?
About the same. I mean, I just like... I'm a normie sucker for Brad Pitt and his charisma and Leo.
I love.
They're just bros.
They're so good.
There's so much bros, and then it's just they're quirky and odd in their weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the Sharon Tate stuff, you know, God bless Margot Robbie and everything, but I think that's kind of boring.
Okay.
I'm like, on the second time around, I'm like, I know what's going to happen.
That's
so
what
so if that's what you're saying, I'm like, I know what's going to happen. Like, I don't...
So it's like, see, that is a criticism a lot of people have, that Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate doesn't have a lot to do. But I think it's more a commentary about where Hollywood was heading at the time, and kind of just a tribute to her as a person more than, you know...
Didn't you say, like a pay respect kind of thing?
Yeah, I think
Didn't you say it was like a red herring? I thought someone, after we first saw it, someone said it was like a red herring. Her kind of arc in it was like a red herring.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
I also like it when two kind of plot lines that you don't think have anything to do with each other kind of like interweave. You know, they kind of come to a head, like both of them kind of come to a head.
Yeah, but that's what I mean for like the first viewing. It was kind of cool because
you're
kind of anticipating like, what's going to happen with it. And then, you know.
Yeah, so rewatchability, I guess there might not, in my opinion, there might not be a lot of it there.
Can I ask about the Italian woman at the end, or is that spoilers?
We try not to...
Oh, you mean Leonardo DiCaprio's...
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Wait,
the wife.
The wife.
Oh. It depends on where you're going to go with that. We try to stay away from...
Is that Quentin Tarantino's wife? I think it is.
Really?
Yeah. Because Quentin Tarantino is marrying an Italian model. You know,
what the fuck?
I think he did. I think he married her. I think his
Really?
wife. Yeah, I think he's married right now. I don't know if he's engaged or married.
Oh, this is going to be like a Roman Polanski thing where he puts his wife and everything.
Right.
After this.
You know. But, yeah, I think it looked like her, to be honest with you. But,
Are you looking it up now?
Yes.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up. But,
yeah.
I really liked it.
For me personally, like, talking about this kind of stuff, I try to, like, be very tread lightly.
Yeah, not spoil anything. But I really liked it. It's one of my favorite Tarantino films. You're right, the rewatchability is probably not there, but I don't rewatch a lot of Quentin Tarantino films. I don't find a lot of his films have a lot of rewatchability, in all honesty. That's the truth to me. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm glad that you're sticking to your guns.
I mean, maybe more so like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and maybe Kill Bill Volume 1, but like I could never watch Kill Bill 2 or like Death Proof or like Inglourious Bastards maybe.
I love it.
But I can't. I wouldn't rewatch like Django or Hateful Eight personally.
So the joke with Leonardo DiCaprio, I think we all know what it is that he doesn't date anyone under 25.
Yeah.
And the wife at the end she's a Chilean model. She's like 29.
Okay.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I also really like that whole aspect. It's like, I'm not going to do spaghetti westerns. That's some bullshit.
No one likes spaghetti.
No one likes spaghetti westerns. I actually laughed out loud at that part, and like no one got it.
Well, it's even funnier because like he's such a huge fan of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Quentin Tarantino's knowledge, and I just, you know, it's funny because I will say this: Quentin Tarantino is non-pretentious, and I love that. He just sticks to his guns and he makes what he loves, and he pays tribute to everything he loves, everything from books to comic books. There was the freaking Outlaw Kid, and Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. The comic books are just chilling, and I'm like, yes, you go, Tarantino.
He's a nerd.
He's a nerd, and I love it, dude. I love it, and I hear his sets are insanely fun to work on. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to his next and final film, and whatever it is.
So what would you give this movie?
I give it a 4 out of. I can't even remember what I gave on Stardust. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Dang.
Yeah, it was really freaking good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I did just read he was going to retire at 60.
Yeah, after his 10th movie.
He said it might be a horror movie if he thinks of it.
Yeah, or sci-fi. I heard there's talk that it's going to be Star Trek.
It should be a Marvel movie.
He actually talked about doing a Marvel movie. He said the thing with Marvel movies is he would only want to do the characters he loved as a kid. So like Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, and then Luke Cage, And like he said, he likes very grounded characters. He said like he's something like a Doctor Strange or Submariner.
No, he couldn't do
Never interested in him.
He couldn't do it. I mean, he could technically do a Luke Cage in maybe a couple years because they'll get the rights back to him in like next year. Or
I could see him doing a Luke Cage. I just don't think because he would want to go rated R with it. I know he would, and he wouldn't want to.
That would be a blaxploitation film.
Yeah, it would. Totally. He actually commented. He said that he's watching the MCU right now because he's just so busy making movies. Like he doesn't have a lot of time to watch films anymore, which is kind of sad. But he said he's on Thor Ragnarok right now, and he said he loved it. Nice. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, dude. He's the only director who like defends these films, by the way.
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, so I really liked it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
All right, you have a ton of movies.
I do, but I don't know what you guys got.
I'm gonna keep it pretty concise for a couple of these.
Hit me.
I really don't have that many to talk about, but I gotta bring up this movie because it's fucking amazing.
Okay.
And that's Uncle Boomy, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. We watched that together. Mark, what'd you think about that movie?
It's an anime movie, or
no?
It is a
Taiwanese. No,
yes, it's a Taiwanese film.
Mm-hmm.
It was from the director of Cemetery of Splendor.
Oh, okay. The guy with the super long name. Yeah.
Apichatpong Weerasethakul. That is his name.
Apichatpong Weerasethakul?
Yes.
Holy crap.
That is his name. And
how'd you figure that out?
I watched a review on YouTube.
Oh, he says it properly.
Yes.
Apichatpong
Weerasethakul.
Yes. So that is his name.
But you can call me Seth. He's probably like what he says in real life.
No.
But I still can't say the guy's who played Mordo in Doctor Strange. His name.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, I can't say that. Or the guy who played the dad in not Winston Duke, but the grandpa, let's call him, in Us and Black Manta last year.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know. I'm really bad at pronunciation. The only reason I know it is because of that.
Yeah. Digimon Hansu, that's another one. It's kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can chime in whenever you'd like, but I just wanted to pay attention, or just bring up one scene in particular, and this pretty much will just sum up the entire film experience for me.
Okay. This
is the most powerful scene probably in the last 10 years that I've seen.
Wow.
Or like that has come out in the last 10 years.
Damn.
And it is like this pilgrimage to this cave. The plot of this movie is there's this sick man and he
was getting hype on that cave.
And what's up? The camera.
He was getting hype on the cave part. Anyways,
I
interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh my god. So he's sick and he's about to die, and his wife, who passed away, comes to visit him. She's a ghost.
Okay.
So does I believe it's his son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like his son.
Yeah, and
his son's not dead though.
Yes, it's really fantasy based. He slept with a monkey spirit and became
the son did.
Wow. Okay.
And it is actually like super creepy, like the way that he like comes into play.
Yeah.
He's like, you could see his red eyes like the Terminator, like on the stairwell, and he's like as he's walking up the stairs.
Oh wow!
Like we're just creeped the fuck
That's
out
creepy,
of
yeah.
It is really creepy, and yeah, it's very very fantasy based stuff. But they're on their way. We don't really know why they're going to this cave, but the trip there is just spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
They have this shot where the camera's inside of the cave, and you can see that the black of the cave. It's kind of like the optical illusion where if you stare at it one way, you can see like two people kissing, and if you stare at it another way, it makes a face or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like the opening creates like a different image than the rest of it. It kind of looks like this like witch's hat.
Some people see a duck, some people see a rabbit.
Yeah, so it's something like that, and then like keeps going from there. Like they get inside, and then they have the lighting and the crystals on the caves start to reflect, and it looks like they're in space.
I need to watch this. You're selling me on it. It looks cool.
It's incredible. And then they have these stills that just he just starts narrating about like past and present, extinction, and stuff like this, and reincarnation, and it's just a riddle. It's fantastic. But these stills are like incredible looking, and it kind of like paints this picture of like what's gonna happen in the future and stuff like that. And just the director's use of space is like incredible, because the first time that you see something happen, you always see like some people sitting at the side of a table or whatever, and then there's equal space with nothing going on in it, and you're always attracted to that space because you're like, okay, something can happen.
Yeah.
And one of the first things that happen is a ghost appears in the seat while they're having dinner. And so every time that there's open space in a shot, you're always attracted there because there's something that could happen potentially, and that's what's so magical about this director. And he's definitely like a slow cinema director. That's like his shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like slow cinema goes, this is probably like the best thing I've seen.
Damn,
this is incredible.
This is gonna be on your top 50.
I'm giving this a 10.
Damn, what?
Yeah.
We need a sound bite for that.
What did you think about this movie?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I liked it. It was okay.
You liked it, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? That's T-Kettle. Whenever.
No, that's all right.
Whenever, like I said, I liked Swiss Army Man. He's like, you liked it, huh? Huh? You liked it?
Wait, I'm not like in love with that movie or anything. I really like that movie.
Yeah. It was funny. No, I'm just busting your
I know.
balls.
I'm sorry.
I'm busting your balls.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I feel like I am too dumb for that movie.
It's nothing like that though, because like if you were reading the wiki thing to me about like some of his themes in the movie about extinction and his view on it. One of his views on it. There's so many interpretations that it can't just be this, but like the fact that it's about digital versus like film.
Really?
And I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
But it can't be as black and white as that. There's too much going on. It's too.
It seems like he put a lot of effort into just saying
too
digital versus
universal
film.
For that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
digital versus
so
analog.
Good. And that's another reason why I love it. I love things where it's not just cut and dry.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely not that. I love this movie, and I'll be talking about it later on in the future.
I really hate that you attended those online film classes. You become so much smarter.
Wait, what?
You become so much smarter as a critic. And,
No, he's always been.
And I'm like, I like the pictures.
No, dude. So I feel you though. Sometimes I'm like T-Kettle. Like I talk about a film and I'm like, yeah, I liked it. It's really cool. Cinematography's really good. Directing's good. And then he just dives into like freaking.
Well, that scene was just really captivating.
Yeah, I got you.
I like the part where they make the joke with their mouths and then.
No, trust me, it's normal to feel dumb around T-Kettle. It's normal to feel dumb around him because he's such on another level, and I mean that as a compliment.
Oh, thanks, I guess.
But
that's all I really got to say about
nice. Did you see anything, Mark? You see anything?
I saw Ratatouille.
Okay.
Yesterday for the first time.
Oh, nice! I like that film.
And I did enjoy it. I mean, for a movie about the premise is like a rat making fancy food,
which is just like a joke.
Yeah, I sat down and watched it with my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to watch Ratatouille?" She's like, "No, it doesn't sound interesting to me."
Right.
And at the end, she wound up liking it a lot. So, what's up?
That rat is just in Pacific Rim. He's using the hair.
Yeah, for real. And it's just this. It's a cute, fun. It's a cute family movie. It's got timely themes. It's got the whole 9 yards, and it makes me want to watch. You know, I've had WALL-E on my watch list for a while now.
WALL-E's good. You never seen WALL-E?
I've seen bits and pieces.
I've never seen.
It's good. I've never seen Up in its entirety.
I haven't seen Up in its entirety either.
I don't think it's as good as everyone says.
I mean, and this is just a rewatch of like I want to watch Frozen again before Frozen 2 comes out.
I've never seen it.
I'll hit you with it.
Never seen it.
And just because
that's not Pixar though.
I know technically it's not it's a Disney animated studios, and I know it's not technically a Pixar movie, but I still have to see that. But I mean, yeah, it was fun. I figured it would be good because I mean I saw the reviews of it. I knew Brad Bird, who had done The Incredibles, at least the first one.
Yeah.
And this was his second animated movie, so I'm like, okay. And then, you know, I liked Incredibles 2 and I liked Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just kind of weird to see him do like a movie about a rat making escargot and then fucking Tom Cruise just hopping off a building. But
it's a really cool idea, and it's I feel like Ratatouille is one of those animated films where adults could also really love it.
Yeah.
It's like more so than even I know Pixar films are very universal when it comes to age, Like, you can just love it no matter what. But I feel like Ratatouille really is kind of... It feels more PG than it is G. You know what I mean?
I saw on the Amazon, because they do the little factoids, like IMDb factoids.
Yeah.
And it was like Anthony Bourdain. This was one of his favorite movies.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, if it does that to, like, a noted food guy, so, I mean, it must have represented his love for cuisine like that.
No, it's really cool.
Like you said, when they eat the food or whatever, and it goes back to their childhood.
Yeah.
I just like that. In a kid's movie, he has this, like, existential fallback to his youth, and he's, like, just experiencing a mass euphoria.
Which is something that's not explored in films a lot, is like the art of food and the culinary arts. So it's really cool to see that.
To see a Disney movie.
Yeah.
See a Disney movie.
And you gotta always take into account that like that was food made by a rat.
Yeah.
And he's like his mom made it.
Yeah. Do you remember who plays the food critic in that movie?
No, I don't.
Peter O'Toole.
Really?
Yeah, and he has a really good monologue at the end of the movie.
That's awesome. I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years, but
that scene's real good.
That's awesome. You actually reminded me. I forgot to put something I actually did see on here. So I actually forgot to put a movie on here, which I'm gonna talk about.
Okay.
I saw the Lego movie for the first time. The first one, yeah.
First one.
I've seen the Lego Batman movie. Have not seen the original Lego movie. It's pretty great. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
I was not expecting the whole shift, I'll just say, we're in this world now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. But it made sense, and it's like, wow, this is actually kind of cool, and it's like there's more meaning to this film than I thought. And, and it's really funny. I watched it on the plane to Vegas, and I laughed out loud because there were some funny-ass parts in it. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
And it's really good. It's just a really good animated film, and the animation is so good. I just watched a thing on Corridor Digital's YouTube channel where they talked about the dynamics of the animation for the Lego Movie and how this was one of the first animated movies to explore like this lighting system that lit everything almost like it was the real world. Yeah. And it was crazy, and it was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people might be like, "Oh, this movie's like kind of ADHD, like it's really fast paced and stuff."
It is. It's a little bit chaotic.
It is a little chaotic, but it's still comprehensible. At least to me, I still really like it. Mm-hmm. And it's very fast paced, but there's enough jokes in there and adult jokes where adults will be like, "Yeah, this is funny. I like this."
Dude, I'm so glad that they chose to make a Lego Batman movie afterwards because he was so funny.
Oh, he was so good.
Throw the batarangs first try.
Yeah, it was so good.
So good.
It was so good. I love it when he like leaves the plane or whatever. He's like, "I'll take care of this," and he's like, "Oh, wow, he's gone," and he's like, "Hey," and it's like he's just back there. So good. Yeah, I really liked it. So. You see, that's all my reviews. Like, yeah, I liked it.
I liked it. Yeah.
Well, sometimes we need that because this is gonna be a long episode.
Yeah, I know. So really that's the thing. Sometimes I just want to really speed the process up a little bit.
True.
I will say that when you never mind because you'll end up seeing the Lego Movie 2, the second part. So
yeah,
I don't want to say anything about that.
I hear it's a step down.
Did you
I think
see
they
it?
reverse all the. I heard they reverse all the jokes.
You didn't see it?
No, not yet.
No, I mean they still keep the same humor and stuff like that. It's kind of.
Well, I know the song that they play in the movie, and that's kind of like I see it as like
this song gets stuck in your. Yeah.
It's everything in reverse, which I think is kind of funny.
Everything is awful. Is that it? Like
something like that.
Oh, good.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's funny.
That is funny.
I still like because Elizabeth Banks is wild style in that movie.
Yeah. And
the joke is that when I saw Once Upon a Time with Alyssa, they played the Charlie's Angels reboot trailer before it.
Yeah. And
it says like directed by Elizabeth Banks. And then at the end, I think it was you when we saw the trailer initially. It just says with Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
As an actress in it. So
we talked about that. How like literally
she's in it always.
Yeah,
in the trailer.
it's a shot of her. And then it says directed by Elizabeth Banks, and then it's a shot of her again right after it.
Dude, because like I said, when they like lock and load, and it's the three of them, I really just expected her to like jump in the shot
right?
too.
She really wanted to like show that she was in it.
Yeah.
Or at least the trailer company did.
Funny.
But him and I saw The Art of Self-Defense.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
A couple, maybe a week or two ago.
With Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
How was it?
I think he liked it.
I liked it. I think more than he did.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had, I think just because The Social Network is one of my favorite movies, and Jesse Eisenberg plays the fucking meek, nerdy, awkward guy so well in it, in Social Network, like in this one
he's really confident in Social Network.
Yeah, but as opposed to this one, he's like really scared of everything.
Yeah.
And he plays that he has like the body style, the face, the voice, all that stuff that really fits well into this role.
No, for sure. His performance is good. It's just like the movie is very dry, which was fine. I got some chuckles out of the first half, but then there's the premise of the movie. It really calls for like that volatility to just kind of explode, and it kind of does a little bit. You see in the trailer where like punches his like boss or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what this movie needed, but like when it needed to go up, it just kind of like went back down. And I'm like, okay, it just didn't really.
Well, do you have any interest in seeing it?
Honestly, it didn't like hook me, so probably not.
But for me, there was just a lot of questions too. There's this female character in it, and like she clearly doesn't like what they do, and it's like, why are you still a part of this?
Yeah.
And like I have the question of like what are they really doing? Like what's their end game here? I mean, I did get the one message that you brought up, and I definitely can see that of like toxic masculinity. But
I will say, at least for the female character, and I agree with you that why she stayed with Jim that long is something they don't really flesh out.
Not at all.
I don't know if it's a characteristic of hers just to want to prove that she is in it or what.
Yeah.
Outside of the whole volatile and the moment of explosion, I thought that they handled it well when he is in the parking garage and he and he attacks that guy, and this guy he finds out is innocent, and he realizes his mistakes before it can get worse. He doesn't, he liked punching his boss in the face, but he didn't like just beating up a random stranger who had done nothing to him other than like, I guess in that instance he saw like what that kind of anger can do to you.
I mean, I get it and stuff like that. It's just like for me, a film like that, having that dry note for like the first half of a movie, it kind of gets dull after a while, and it kind of needs to take it somewhere else for me. And I just didn't think that it did that. But I mean, it was okay. Like I thought it was a decent enough movie. I'd give it like a solid 6.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I know this is really disjointed. Can I bring up another criticism to Once Upon a Time that I forgot to mention?
No.
No.
I totally forgot. I don't like the way they portrayed Bruce Lee.
A lot of people did that.
Even his daughter came out and was like, "This is not how my dad acted. This is very kind of offensive." So if his daughter came out and said that, I can't condone it either.
Yeah, he was kind of, he had an ego.
Well, he had such an ego. He's just basically challenging everyone.
I do like that she did say that I was okay with his performance.
Yeah.
It's like he did perform my father well, and that was cool of her. But Tarantino's characterization of him was not.
Yeah, which is so funny because he handled Sharon Tate so delicately.
Yeah.
And he did not do that for
a lot of people
Bruce
didn't
Lee,
like the Bruce Lee part, how he was.
Yeah. He was very egocentric and very like, I'll challenge anyone to a fight no matter what. And it's like, Bruce Lee was not like that from what I hear,
Yeah.
And they even show him later on in a montage moment training Sharon Tate. And he was gentle in it. He was like he wasn't a show off or anything. He was helping her with this.
Yeah.
So
it was a very strange scene. Also, that moment with the car, I was like, okay, we're definitely in a fantasy world. I was like, what is that? It's like, I guess we just transported into a Marvel movie all of a sudden with like the car, It was funny.
That door, yeah.
Yeah, and then the whole door just
I thought it
caves
was.
in.
I thought it was like a stunt car. Or
Me
something
too.
Like that.
Me
but
too.
then she's like, "Oh, that's my car." I'm like, "Okay."
Like, why is your car there then?
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I'm like, okay, so that's a stunt car. It makes sense why they would destroy the door.
It was
like
funny, and it didn't bother me. But what bothered me was just Bruce Lee's. It was a bit much.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. It's making me uncomfortable. Yeah. Especially when his daughter said something. I'm like, okay, now this is a criticism.
What you got next?
I finished Fighting with My Family.
Okay.
I saw it on the plane going to Arizona. Didn't finish it. and then I saw it going to Vegas. Finally finished it. It's real good. I liked it. A lot of it can kind of be considered very formulaic.
Who's the main actress in that?
Florence Pugh.
Oh, her.
Oh.
Yeah, she's really
Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer.
Oh, she's in Midsummer.
Yeah, she's
Midsummer.
Nice. She's in Black Widow too. She's on the up and up.
Yeah, she's gonna be in the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
A lot of it can be kind of considered formulaic, but honestly, it works. Like, I got emotional at the end of it, which is crazy because
Is it funny?
it is funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I wanted to watch it in theaters. I never got around to it.
Because Stephen Merchant directs it, and he has an knack for comedy, and so some of the funny parts you can tell are not part of her actual like story. Like, he's obviously placing comedy within the real world that wasn't actually there.
Now, does The Rock play himself?
He does play himself.
Okay.
And that was one weird thing. We even talked about it. It's like Paige is still relatively young. I think she's like 29 right now. So it's like, why are some of the wrestlers playing themselves, but she's not? Maybe she just wasn't confident in her acting ability. Paige, the real Paige?
Does she do stunts?
No, say what?
Does she do stunts in it, Florence Pugh?
Actually, yeah, she does.
Well, because she
broke her neck.
Yeah.
The real Paige is at the very end of the movie in like the recap.
Or is it like a highlight? Is it like a?
I think it's like there's like a highlight thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's it. So like, she's not in the movie. And they honestly, and I guess this isn't a spoiler, they actually don't touch on the fact that she broke her neck. They don't.
Really?
Yeah, they don't do that. They just kind of. Which I appreciate it, because you can kind of see that whole, like, oh, it's going to be that fall, but then she's going to, like, blah, blah, blah. But they don't do that. So I appreciated the lack of... Because although it is somewhat formulaic, it's not formulaic to the point where it's too much of a criticism.
She's British, right?
Florence Pugh?
Or
Paige?
Paige.
Paige is British,
All right,
yeah.
so Florence Pugh is basically just no accent and everything, right?
Right.
Well, she has her accent, but she's talking normal.
Yeah. And it is kind of an interesting tale about how some people... their dreams don't work out, and it's kind of heartbreaking a little bit, because you see that the dream doesn't work out for someone close to her, and you're just like, you're kind of feeling for him, and he's very angry about it, and you kind of realize that sometimes in life, like, your dreams will never come true, but that doesn't mean you can't find happiness in the hand you've been dealt. You know, and that's kind of a theme in the movie.
Right, now you've made me want to watch. Now I'm probably going to see if I can watch that soon.
Yeah, there you go. So it's real funny, and it's just a good movie, honestly. It's a good feel-good movie, and I got emotional at the end. I'll just be real. I was like, damn.
Is it worth a buy, or would you say just rent it?
Just rent it, I would say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't buy a lot of movies in general. You know, I just rent them all the time. So, I mean, maybe, if you want to buy it, I would say so. Yeah, it's a real good one. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Actually,
let me look at your movies.
4.5 maybe.
Because there's a couple of them. No, there's just one more that I've seen before. But, you still got a few more. Huh?
I still got a few more.
You just want to knock another one out?
Yeah, sure. Little Woods.
Okay.
Saw it on the plane. Probably shouldn't have saw it on the plane. It's not a plane movie, because I want like time to go by faster, and it's a very slow burn movie. So maybe that affected. I'm just being straight up. Maybe that affected my opinion of the movie. I wasn't impressed.
Little Woods is.
It's the one with Tessa Thompson and Lily Collins, and it's like. They're like drug dealers.
Oh, okay, that was the one. Isn't that a Netflix movie?
No. It's like a slow burn kind of drama, limited release kind of movie. Tessa Thompson basically plays like a prescription drug dealer. They don't overinflate anything. They don't Hollywoodize any aspect of it, and that's part of it where I feel like it might be a point of contention for some people, because it is very real. It very much is a slice of life kind of movie, so there are lingering threads that really don't get solved because it's so real world. Okay. Like, she does stuff and she gets away with it. Have you seen it, by the way, or no?
No.
She does stuff and she, like, there's a storyline with her parole officer, for example. He just kind of vanishes, and then she's kind of thrown into this scenario. And it sounds dramatic, but it's really not, where she has to run drugs like across the border, you know, and it's like. It obviously that would be like a huge turning point in the movie, but it's not portrayed that way in the movie, which is fine. But then like a lot of it just kind of gets abandoned, like the whole parole officer thing, like that never gets addressed again. Obviously she never got caught, which does happen in real world, but it's just kind of slow burn. It's very slice of life, and nothing really ever engaged me to really care about the characters, and then Lily Collins is also going through some stuff. She's very, very poor. They're sisters, actually, Lily Collins and Tessa Thompson, and she's very poor, and they're trying to help each other out, and it's basically just a commentary on money and like hardship, which is cool. But for me, it's like I was never invested, and that's my biggest problem with it.
Yeah.
I just never invested in the characters, and then it just kind of ends abruptly. It's very slice of life, which I like typically, but this one you have to grab me. The characters I have to care about. I didn't care about.
You like
them.
slice of life, but you don't like coming of age?
I don't like coming of age, no, because they're so formulaic. Coming of age films are all the same. I feel like slice of life films are very different. Like Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, those are slice of life films, but they're not coming of age films.
We watched a couple of those together.
Yeah, like those are slice of life, but not coming of age.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know how you come of age, but that's just me.
I don't know. We've already came somewhere along the lines.
I'd give it a 3. It was still good, but not something that impressed me. I know it's like 100%.
3 out of 5, right?
3 out of 5, yeah.
Okay. 3 out of 10.
No. 3 out of 5.
It's good, but it's a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, right.
We go.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10.
Is that an inside joke?
No, it's from a YMS
YouTuber. He's like a YouTube film critic.
Yeah.
He'll straight up praise something and then give it like a 6 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Like it's.
He'd be like, "There's nothing wrong with this." But no,
He's in on the joke now though. He's just doing it on purpose because he tweeted. He's like, "Life is a 6 out of 10." Like he tweeted that, and now he's just giving everything a 6 out of 10. It's like he's in on the meme.
Mark, do you have any more movies within those last 2 weeks?
Other than the Mexican one we saw.
Oh yeah, Gyros.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think I've seen anything.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I love Gyros. I love that film. That's a rewatch for me. So, I have one more. Can I talk about it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's called The Captain.
I'm the captain now.
Actually, I'm gonna click on it real quick because it's, if I'm not mistaken, there's like 3 different countries that made this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Where's the? They got these. There's a really cool thing on Letterboxd when you go to details and it shows you like all the studios and stuff like that. You can see the crew, but you can also see what countries made it, which is great. It's a German language film. It's the countries that made it were China, France, Germany, and Poland. And it is about a World War. It's almost at the end of World War II.
Nice, it's a war movie.
I know, which I did, but this is an interesting take on it. This deserter in the war finds a captain's suit, Nazi captain suit, and everyone just thinks that he's a captain. And so it's kind of like a satirical film, but it's kind of like not satirical in a traditional way. It's definitely got some black comedy elements because like you go up to somebody and they're like, "Let me check your papers" or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, the Fuhrer sent me on this mission," and like it gets them every time. Like it's like, wow, what a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah.
But this film is fucked up.
Really?
Like fucked up to the point where it's fucked up for me too.
Damn.
Like, and it's because it's the stuff that hits close to home that fucks me up. And
do you mean like effed up as in like gory, like
so he gets to a point where he gets to this place and he's like, I'll help you guys out. You have all these deserters, it's kind of weighing you down. They're prisoners. There's 90 of them, and he's like, let's just start killing them or whatever.
Damn.
So like it's kind of like ironic in that like authoritarianism way, where he's kind of like he becomes the Fuhrer for these people, and these German soldiers are like, this is inhumane, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up just to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Knowing what Hitler did and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's real fucked up.
But it's because it's their own people. That's why they think that.
Right.
They like gun him down and stuff. He gets really sinister with like the way that he goes about killing. Like he puts he ties a bunch of people together and then shoots one of them. So then the rest of them have to like pull the other people. It's just fucked up.
That is fucked up. Damn.
And there's definitely like a theme here, and about power complex and stuff like that. He camouflages himself in order to survive. But are these themes really worth the trauma that this movie caused me? Probably not.
Damn.
In all honesty, it's still a really good movie. It's so gripping, and the directing is fantastic. And it's all in black and white, which I thought was a good choice. It looked really good. There's only one time where they...
It's weird, because when you were describing it to me, I pictured all the images in black and white for some reason.
Yeah, but there's one scene in particular that they do show in color, which is they show a place and what happened to it, and then they show it in color like modern time, like that same place, and it's like, wow, you wouldn't even recognize, you wouldn't even know the history that went through this place.
Crazy.
But
shit,
this movie is really good, even though it is fucked up.
But you wouldn't rewatch it, huh?
I don't know if I would. Honestly, I think I would, though. Like,
really?
It's not like the act of killing where, like, that movie is like, wow.
Yeah.
Because that's real shit, and, like, the stuff...
Don't say anything about it.
Yeah, okay, I know you're going to watch it. It's different, though. There is still definitely fictional elements to it.
For sure.
It's real good. I'd recommend it for sure.
Nice. All right, I got one here. I'm gonna save the two new ones for last, I guess. I saw Jackie Brown, the only Quentin Tarantino movie I haven't seen.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah,
I really liked it. It's very different than his newer films, that's for sure. It's very much a departure. There was one podcast where he said he's never done adaptation before. This is actually an adaptation. This is a book. Yeah, it even at the end it says written for the screen and directed by Quentin Tarantino. This is Elmore Leonard.
I didn't do my homework.
Yeah, I think this is like Elmore Leonard. I can't remember his book or something, but yeah, this
sounds like it's his.
Yeah, this is yeah, this is like an adaptation. So
okay,
it's the only one he's ever done, and it's real good. It's real good. You see what I'm talking about? This is all I say.
Yeah, this is just take away his film crap.
Pam Grier is really good. Also, I can't remember the main actor's name who plays the bail bondsman who plays Max Cherry, but I know that this movie kind of like revitalized their careers, and they do a really good job on it. A lot of people paint this film as like Quentin Tarantino's homage to blaxploitation films, which it is to a certain extent, but I don't think it's hindered to that. I think it's very much its own thing.
The title of the genre just makes it seem like it's so like inappropriate, and I don't think it is. I don't think it's meant to be bad, but like blaxploitation, black exploitation.
Yeah, I mean, there's also mexploitation for like Mexican.
But weren't a lot of those black exploitation films weren't they made by black people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So a lot of African Americans they view blaxploitation as like a positive thing because Marvin Van Peebles and Gordon Willis, I think his name was, like they kind of really.
So is Jackie Brown's good? I've always wanted to watch it. I don't.
It's very good. It's interesting because there's a lot of twists and turns that happen throughout the plot. A lot of times Quentin Tarantino will show a scene. It's almost like a heist movie where there's something that's going to happen, and in this one location, and then you see it from the perspective of everyone involved.
Yeah.
And so like the whole scene will go through, like the whole scene will complete.
Then it'll replay
itself through the eyes of someone else. And then there's even little things in the back, like one character drives a certain car, and in one of the people's POVs, you see the car in the background just driving through, and then you kind of notice it, but if you don't, you don't. But then in another person's POV, you see that it was their character driving that car.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's one of those reveal and conceal type narratives.
And there's a lot of twists and turns that happen, and it ends on a really interesting note.
So how would it differ, other than being an adaptation that Tyler was not aware of?
Mm-hmm.
How does it differ from his other
It's less, like Quentin Tarantino's films, it's less grindhousey. I'll say that. There's not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of gore.
Yeah.
It
Got
does.
snappy dialogue still.
The snappy dialogue is prevalent throughout, and that's one of the best parts about the film. It very much does homage to certain genres and certain things. He does do a lot of the tactics of bringing in songs that he grew up with and during that era.
Yeah.
Where, not that it's like a period piece, because it's not, but like he brings in like kind of songs that were famous during the blaxploitation period.
Mm-hmm.
And he does that gag where when the scene changes, the music just cuts.
Yeah.
He does that in a lot of his films. He does that in Jackie Brown.
So does he, as a genre that a lot of the mainstream audiences aren't familiar with, does he do it well enough to where they appreciate it still on a mainstream level?
Like
but
the
for
blaxploitation, like
spaghetti westerns like he did in Django.
No, I wouldn't say it's that. It wouldn't. It's not as prevalent as it is in Django. Like Django was very much an homage to spaghetti westerns. Like you can clearly tell.
Yeah.
This not so much. Like if you didn't know what blaxploitation was,
you're not gonna know after this.
Yeah, you're not gonna know
It's
afterwards.
still like a crime. It's definitely like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, where he was still on those highs.
Yeah.
Where he wants to do stuff like that and do kind of like interesting structures, like Pulp Fiction's out of order. Like he said, it kind of plays the same thing over and over again. And then Reservoir Dogs shows like certain characters and like their background before revealing. Like
I did not like Reservoir Dogs.
Wow, that's one of my favorites.
I might have to rewatch it again, but when I watched it the first, I was like, it's whatever.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino plays with a non-linear structure in Jackie Brown, not to the point of like Pulp Fiction, but still.
It's for like it might be considered like slightly like blaxploitation. It's still a crime film. It's still like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I think there's only subtle hints toward his love toward blaxploitation. One being the title of the movie, like the font, and the music. Other than that, there's not a lot of blaxploitation like nods. It's not like Black Dynamite where the whole thing is just blaxploitation, you know.
Yeah.
But it's very good. It's one of his better films. It's a very tame film compared to some of his newer films. And I would give this baby a 4 out of 5. Sorry, I'm sweating.
Dude, I feel you, dude.
Got that fan going.
It's not doing.
Woo! All right, I got 2 more movies. What else you guys got?
No, I got nothing.
Nothing? What about you,
I
Mark?
got nothing.
Got nothing?
How'd you
Okay.
get so much done?
I don't know, dude.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, man.
He was on a flight, so there you go.
Yep. Hobbs and Shaw. I saw it. I didn't really want to see it, but me and my friend were in Vegas, and we're like...
I want to see it just because it looks really charming, and they look like a cute duo, so...
No, cute duo. Yeah. I actually like the Fast and the Furious franchise, especially starting with Fast 5. 5, 6, and 7 are really good films. 8 is like,
Which one's Paul Walker died?
7.
7, okay.
Yeah, they should have ended it there, in all honesty. The 8th one was not that great. It was funny because in our hotel room, we literally watched 6, 7, and 8 back to back, sort of. Not the whole thing. Like, we would watch the beginning of 6 and then go out, do something, come back, and then we would watch the end of it. So after the 8th one, we're like, yeah, let's just go to the movies, watch Hobbs and Shaw. So we did. It's pretty good. It's okay. You go in there knowing what it's going to be. It's a vast departure from the Fast and the Furious because they're introducing... Like, Fast and the Furious has always been goofy. They take that goofiness and ramp it up. And for Fast and the Furious, that's saying something.
Now, as someone who hasn't really watched a lot of the Fast movies, other than the best one, Tokyo Drift...
That's an opinion.
Can I get into Hobbs and Shaw as like an
action? If you didn't know anything about Fast and the Furious, you could watch this film. Like, this would just be its own thing. Okay. It's so detached from everything else. The best thing about the movie is the chemistry between Hobbs and Shaw. There's really good chemistry and there's really good jokes, and the writing between them is actually very witty. Also, the action is done very well. It's directed by David Leitch, who did Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde, and John Wick, the first one. And so the action is very good, and this movie has a lot more style than some of the Fast and Furious movies. You can tell that very John Wick, very high-key lighting, with like everything's like blue and red or pink. You know, it's like that kind of only God forgives kind of lighting.
Sure.
Like, that's prevalent throughout the film.
Can I guess what your
my rating?
No, can I guess your negative to this movie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did the trailer show too much and you knew everything that was going to happen?
The trailer showed too much and I knew everything that was going to happen. Literally everything. It's insane how much that trailer showed. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know what the crazy part is? There actually is I'm not going to spoil it, but there are surprise cameos in this film that I cannot believe did not get revealed.
Whoa!
I cannot believe didn't get revealed.
Don't you dare look it up.
Yeah.
Is Fast 5 good? It says it's good.
Yeah.
Fast 5's the best one.
I was actually going to watch it soon if you want to watch it.
Fast 5 has one of the best action sequences. The climax is one of the best action sequences ever.
But you don't have to watch the first 4. I don't feel like watching the first 4.
You should just start with 5, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Because that's when they changed it up. They're like, we need to do something different, and they did. But I'm glad you bring that up, though, because one other criticism I have is Fast and the Furious, especially starting with the 5th one, that climax in the 5th one is all practical. It's like 95% practical.
There's no practical in it. Not a lot by the looks of it.
In Hobbs and Shaw?
Yeah.
It's heavily CG. A lot of it is heavily CG, which kind of goes against what Fast and the Furious is kind of about. Because Fast and the Furious has obviously there's CG elements to a lot of it, but there's still a part of it that's practical. Even when they jump from building to building in a car, that car is actually practical. You know, they just extend the set.
Is
obviously.
Elba good in it?
Is who?
Idris Elba.
He's another criticism I have. He's good in it. He plays the role well.
Is the main joke with him the Black Superman one?
They drill that into the ground, okay, yeah. That's one thing where I'm like, okay, this is getting a little too goofy, even for Fast and the Furious standards, when he is a superhero. He is a superhero. But what the weird thing is like they portray Jason Statham and The Rock also as superheroes. Like this guy is supposed to be enhanced, yet he punches The Rock and Jason Statham in the jaw. And there's slow motion shots where you see him, like Jason Statham getting punched in the jaw and his face warps and everything. The dude walks away with like no broken jaw, no blood, no scratches.
What the fuck? I was thinking the same thing.
And I'm just like, you portray this guy as a Superman. Like, that logic doesn't make sense when everyone else is on the same level as him.
Does he ever like punch somebody else and they just like their head just spins around?
Oh, basically, yeah. Like,
what the fuck is
like
this?
other henchmen where he just like hits, he like hits them and they just die.
Plot armor.
Yeah, it's plot armor, dude. And Idris Elba, he played it well, but his character's very weird, and because he's a Superman, and it's just you're bringing in this really goofy. It just feels so different, and it feels so odd. And I'm just like, this is just a weird.
Because the way they did it in the trailer was that so the plot is the sister steals a
virus.
A virus. And
yeah.
It sounds like she's actually the bad guy.
She is not the bad guy.
She's not the bad guy.
No.
At least to me, I was like, well, if you steal the virus, aren't you like?
Well, she steals it to
prevent something.
To keep it from to keep it from Idris Elba.
Yeah.
She actually injects herself with it, and then like becomes the host.
Whoa.
And then it's a race against time to like get it out of her. So it's interesting.
Now I want to watch Fast and Furious. Damn it, Nico.
Sorry, Fast 5 is really good.
I'm not doing shit today.
6 is also good. Fast 5 is the best one, but
Go to the library.
This one is this one is okay. It's still fun is the main thing. You're not bored while watching it, and I don't regret watching it. But it's just not something that's crazy memorable. You're not going to walk away from it saying that was one of the best action films I've ever seen. But the action is really good, and the fight choreography is good. The chemistry between Rock and Statham is also really good. And, yeah, it's very goofy, but it knows what it is. And if you know what you're going into, you'll end up enjoying it. I give it like a 3 out of 5. A soft 3.
That's what because I had tickets to see it last week. I'm like, you know what, I don't know much about it, but it looks just like some dumb, goofy fun for a couple hours. I'm like, you know what, I'll see it, just because the trailers made it seem like the show was Dwayne and Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was like my pull for it. So
yeah, those two. I mean, they're cool characters. They're introduced. Like Rock is introduced in Fast 5, and then Jason Statham is introduced in the 7th one. It was interesting, the whole concept of like, let's take these two characters and make something out of them, because they have like a.
I know it wasn't he Statham a villain
in the 7th one, yes, which my friend David is really upset about. I won't spoil it for you,
and
but
he killed my guy Han from.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's spoiled for you now.
Whoa.
So, yeah. Okay.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah.
You're spoiling too much shit on this podcast.
Oh, like Tokyo Drift's like 20 years old.
Yeah, but Han, it was never revealed who killed Han until.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
You spoilers, bro.
I don't remember how I saw that because I didn't see the movie. I didn't see 7.
This is the first time that we actually. I think one time I can't even remember what it was.
Well,
about,
if he
but
listens, I apologize.
You were like, this you were trying to keep the name out of your mouth, and then you said it, and you're like, "Damn it!"
Oh yeah. Was that for Spider-Man? Or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were. Oh, that movie. We had to be so careful.
That was one of the hardest movies to navigate around.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But yeah, 3 out of 5. It's a fun
apologize,
time.
David, if he's watching this. It is a heartbreaking moment in Tokyo Drift.
It is, because Han was his favorite character. He's like, oh, I love Han, and
they never brought back Bow Wow, which kind of upset me. I know they bring back
that one dude's name.
Yeah, Lucas Black. Yeah. They do bring him back. They don't bring back Bow Wow, but
shame.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
I didn't realize.
Well, rip to Han, and
Han shot first.
You know his name is Han Solo, because like there's an Easter egg where if you zoom in on his ID, there's a part where he shows his ID, and it says Han, Seolou. So his name is Han Solo.
Oh, so like the Korean.
Yeah, like the Korean. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's never revealed. It's just a little Easter egg. They never like say his last name in the actual movie. But if you read it, it's Han Solo.
So what'd you watch next?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. All right.
I have a feeling.
This is basically Goosebumps for
adults.
Yeah,
teens.
I would say it's not adult level because it is PG-13. So there are things that I really like about this film, and there are things that I don't like. First of all, you guys know that this is based off of a book, right?
Yeah.
And you know the book is just a collection of anthology stories.
Yep.
What they choose to do here is connect them. So they do the Goosebumps thing where they stumble into a haunted house, they find the book, this is in the trailer, and then all those stories start to come to life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically Goosebumps. The best part of this film is the stuff that's taken from the book. Everything adapted from the book is actually really well done. Everything original surrounding those stories is not great. Everything that they try to connect the stories with, not great. It's almost like they made the segments. They filmed these segments from the book. They're like, okay, we filmed these segments. How can we connect them? And it was almost like an afterthought.
Why don't you just put a black title over all of them and just like do an anthology?
That's what I was saying. Just do an anthology, like
VCR or
VHS.
Yeah, something like that.
I think their mentality was that anthologies don't make a lot of money. A lot of the layman crowd, a lot of the normies really don't like anthology films, and they don't make a lot of money. So maybe that's what their goal was. But again, this is not something like Slender Man or Insidious 4 where they did not care about the source material. Everyone in this movie tried, and you can tell. The actors are actually really good actors. The main chick...
I hate to interrupt, but you're a huge horror fan.
I'm a huge horror fan,
so
yeah.
This is your territory.
Yeah.
Yes.
The main actors are actually really good. The main actress, she's actually in the trailer for the one we just talked about with the kid from It. Low Tide. Yeah, she's in that trailer.
Oh, okay.
She's really good. It's almost like...
the main?
She's the main character. And all these kids are very good, and they're giving it their all. And they're really good, but their dialogue that they're given is not the best. The one thing also about this film is that everyone did care about the source material, and you can tell the atmosphere, the cinematography is really good. It does take place in 1968, I believe, so it is a period piece, and it's very well done in certain aspects. But I just feel like some of the writing could have been better. One of my biggest gripes with the film is like you can see the potential, dude. I have not seen a film I have not seen a film. Say what?
This stilted?
No. I have not seen a film in such a long time that had this much potential. You can see the potential oozing off the screen. It oozes off the screen, and you can see it that just with a couple minor changes, this film would have actually been great. For example, there's just a little things where you're like, if they just did this one little change, it would have been great. For example, one of the kids has this dream about the Red Room.
Okay.
And you see, that's the thing from the book. So you're like, okay, you know what's coming if you know the book, right? And he's like, I'm not going into the basement of this hospital because I have a bad feeling the Red Room's going to be down there, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay, wait for us somewhere else. Just wait for us, right? So he goes into the elevator to the hospital. He goes to the roof. Why does he go to the roof? What he should have done is gone to the lobby to get out, and then it opens up to the roof. And then he would have been like, what? Because obviously when these stories start to happen, reality kind of starts to warp, you know?
Sure.
Kind of do like a Grave Encounters thing where he goes in the elevator and opens up, and then like, yeah, and then it opens up, and then he's in a location where he didn't want to go. He intentionally went to the roof for no reason. So just minor changes like that could have made this film great. Another problem is the film, although it's trying to give these characters backstory and depth, the film doesn't really give its characters enough time to breathe. The film doesn't breathe enough to really let the characters develop, because it seems like the filmmakers are just so preoccupied with, all right, let's get from this scene from the book to the next scene to the book. We need to get from these book parts, these book set pieces that are taken from the book. We need to get from this place to this place as fast as possible. What they should have done between those moments is slowed the film down, develop the characters more, because there's a part, I won't spoil it for you, but there's a Mexican kid who's introduced into the film, and he has a backstory that's revealed, and it's actually a pretty interesting backstory, but they reveal it almost toward the end of the film, and then there's a ghost from the book that is a parallel to his tragic backstory, right? The problem is that backstory wasn't revealed until literally the scene right before that goes. Exactly, until right before that scene happens. So it's like, here's my tragic backstory, the ghost comes out, you know, and like goes after him. Yeah. And I'm like, it would have been so cool if you set up that backstory earlier on in the film. Yeah. That way, when this ghost happens, we as an audience have enough time to digest it and be like, oh, okay, like this has a much more emotional impact now because of that reason. But you literally throw it at us and then throw the ghost at us right away. And you're like, we don't have enough time to digest the parallel. I just saw this like 2 days ago. This is why I have a lot to say about it. When I let films marinate for too long, sometimes I just forget what I like and didn't like about them.
Yeah, no, that happens all the time.
But I will say, it's kind of like The Nun, you know, where it's like you can tell that they tried, and you can tell that everyone cared. It wasn't just like a cash grab. They really loved the source material, and they really poured their heart into it. And you can see the potential, and there's still enough there to keep you invested. You know what this film is? This film is not a great horror film, but it's a great Halloween film. The film starts on Halloween, and a majority of the film actually takes place on Halloween. Mm-hmm. You know how we did like our top 10 Halloween films list? This could definitely be on that list. It might not be like the best horror film to just watch if you're into horror, but if it's Halloween time, I could see someone putting this on just to celebrate the holiday for sure. Cool. And that's a really good compliment. Also, the monster designs are really good. Again, everything taken from the books is actually really creepy, and it does push the line to R in some parts, where there's this one death that happens that's kind of horrifying, and I'm like, wow, okay, we're going here. It's like this is for something. PG-13. Yeah, for PG-13, I'm like, you guys are riding this line pretty hard, and if this is a good I've heard other reviewers say this, it's a good gateway horror film to if you're a younger kid. If you're in middle school, this would be a good gateway horror film for you.
There you go.
And one last criticism, I forgot about this. Remember how I said we need to stop putting politics in movies? This movie shows Nixon in the TV screen in the beginning of the film, and I'm like, okay, you're establishing the era. That's cool. It keeps coming back to it over and over again, and then it shows that this Mexican kid keeps getting bullied, and he gets called a wetback and like the police or whatever, and obviously like his story is obviously a commentary on modern day immigration, and I'm like, this is a PG-13 horror film meant for middle school kids. Keep your politics out of it, dude. Not everything needs to have a political subtext to it. Why does this film have anything related to politics? Like this, it's so weird. I'm not here to watch politics. I'm here to watch a horror film. And so that part, it wasn't like in your face, but it got to the point where you noticed it and you're like, why do they keep showing Nixon like randomly throughout this entire thing? It was almost like Straight Outta Compton, where they kept showing like the Rodney King thing just throughout the film, but it had no bearing on the plot. Yeah. It was like that. But overall, I gave this baby straight down the middle, 2.5 out of 5. Not the worst thing ever, but you know, what were you expecting?
Well, I mean, at least a 3 because you gave Little Wood. You like this movie less than Little Woods? There you see?
Yeah, that's true. Well, every film is relative. You know what? I'll boost it up to a 3 because it's a good Halloween. You know what? How about this? During Halloween, this is a 3-star.
Okay.
During every other time of the year, 2.5 stars.
Sure, okay.
Because you can see the potential, and I got so frustrated. I'm like, just if you did this film would have been great, dude. This film would have been a 4-star if it just would have done these little things.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all that we've seen, right?
That's all that we've seen.
That was a long segment.
It was.
It looks like I'm really going to be the only one participating in this list yet again.
Yeah, again.
Again? I didn't even come up with the list.
Did you make a hot list? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make my own hot list. How does that feel, you little bitch?
I know, best cult classics.
Yep, top cult classics.
I mean, I got a couple maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, let me count mine. I have 1, 2, 3.
Damn, we're finally just getting to the meat of the subject. Meat of the podcast.
I have 12 honorable mentions, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, not a single film has ever showed up on a list before.
Damn.
Wait, except for maybe 1? Maybe even 2. So I try to steer clear of like all the ones that we've talked about because there's so many other movies that I love that I haven't even talked about before.
I'm gonna sit back and enjoy this.
You can participate because some of these movies you probably have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised with number 3 only because we haven't talked about it and it feels like a movie we should have talked about like a lot.
Okay.
So, well, do you have any honor?
I got none.
Okay, so for honorable mentions, we're going to start with one that I saw as a kid and it had a big impact on me because it was terrifying to me. A little film called Joyride with Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, explain to me what is your definition of a cult classic movie?
Yeah, that's
cult
a good
classics, one. Well, you came up with
yeah.
So
I feel like, in my opinion, cult classics are films that were not appreciated when they came out, but have garnered a cult following that has not been like mainstream. Like a lot of people would consider Blade Runner a cult classic. I don't consider Blade Runner a cult classic anymore because that film has almost gotten to the point where it's mainstream. Everyone loves Blade Runner now. You know, these are films I think that are very kind of obscure. That they're very niche and only a certain kind of people.
Same thing with The Room.
Yeah, exactly. The Room. Well, that's on my list actually. The Room, and it's like that. It's like people appreciate it now for one reason or another. Sometimes they appreciate it in a very tongue-in-cheek way.
Acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. Some people appreciate it in a very tongue-in-cheek way, while other people actually do like the film.
What about you, Tyler? Do you feel like that's a good definition of it? Or do you have a different opinion?
Yeah, I think at the time of its release, maybe it was underappreciated.
Also, they're very B-movie-esque.
Maybe the film didn't make its money back at the box office. That
kind of flew under the radar and then found a second life as time went on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not more sort of a critical. Is it a critical reception? Because I know
critical reception. There's a lot of these movies are actually really well received, but like maybe just not well. Like they didn't get a viewership.
Exactly.
So Joyride, yeah, Paul Walker's in it, Steve Zahn. It's basically them driving this road trip movie, and they get this ham radio. They start like talking into it and start pretending to be other people. And Paul Walker pretends to be Candy Cane, this woman. He starts doing like woman voices and stuff, and it attracts a truck driver who becomes kind of obsessed with them and starts to like trail them.
Wow.
And it's terrifying. It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Is this the one with Paul Walker where he gets hit in the head with a hockey puck? Or is that Running Scared? I think it's Running Scared. Yeah.
And then eventually like the truck driver starts like fucking with them once he finds out that it's creepy.
That sounds scary.
Next up I got Assault on Precinct 13, which is a classic like survival horror film. It's very raw. Of course, it's by John Carpenter, so that just makes sense.
Which one, the reboot or
the original?
The John Carpenter is like the king of cult films. Let's just be real.
Yeah, he really is. Dude, this movie is super underrated animated film. Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
A lot of people like that.
You're going to have Treasure Planet on there too, aren't you?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, okay.
I actually never seen Treasure Planet.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is like the most adult adventure film that Disney has ever released. And like, for that reason, like, it didn't get any love. Wes Anderson's funniest movie, Bottle Rocket. It's his first film. Goes under the radar only because it's not like artistic like his other films. I mean, it is to an extent, but like not really.
Right.
Dude, this is another one that I saw when I was a kid, and I like loved it because you never really knew what you were gonna see with it, and that was Cube.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a cult film for sure.
Yeah, that film, like, it's just
one with them in a.
And they're just in a cube. Okay. They just keep moving around from place to place, and they're trying to find a way out. It's kind of like Saw, where every room was different. Like one time it'll be like voice activated, so like flamethrowers would come if you made any noise, so you had to be quiet. It's really interesting, fun movie.
Yeah.
Okay. This is completely. I forgot even why I put this on here, but it's great.
Okay.
The original Django.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because what's in the coffin is reason enough to love this movie. It actually kind of like changed the genre for me.
Damn.
It's real cool, real good movie.
All right.
Next up we got High Fidelity, which is John Cusack, Jack Black. And this is how you know that I like this movie, is when Jack Black. I like Jack Black in a movie.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I don't like Jack Black. And I can relate to this. I'm sure we can relate to this movie a lot because he always comes up with like top 5 lists in this movie. Or, like top 5 breakup songs or whatever. And it's like, oh, it's so good. It's like, that's totally me. This movie gets overshadowed all the time because of its I don't even know what you'd call it because it's not really connected all that well. Manhunter.
Okay.
Manhunter is really good. I think one thing that it does better than Silence of the Lambs is it builds up its villain really well. Because you kind of understand the villain, unlike Buffalo Bill.
Oh yeah, this is like Brett Ratner's sequel to Silence of the Lambs, right?
Well, it came out beforehand. It came out in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
But it's I think it's Michael Mann.
Is it Michael Mann?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Brett Ratner did one
Brian
of them.
Cox?
Red Dragon. He did Red Dragon.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's right.
And that also has a cult following. Red Dragon.
Yeah. Brian Cox plays Hannibal Lecter in this movie. Completely different than.
Right. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's real good. I really liked it. Shout out to my boy Jacob Hoy. I think this is one of the ones that was on here before, just because I had to throw it in here. That's Starship Troopers. Man.
Yeah.
This movie's funny as shit. And I agree with his love for it.
All right.
Three more.
Okay.
These next two, saw as a kid, really liked them. Tremors used to scare the shit out of me because
I like Tremors too.
Sharks.
Yeah,
dude.
I like Tremors too. Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, the rock paper scissors joke in that movie is really good.
Yeah.
It's a fun
I'll put that as an honorable mention.
It's a fun movie. And then the other one is if you ever worked in the food service. Waiting, dude.
Yep.
It's so funny. It's so pitch perfect. It's so accurate. Oh man, and you just even if you're a customer at a food place, like watching this movie will just disgust you, and you'll never want to eat out again. It's great. And then lastly, we have Westworld, which is completely different than the show.
Yep.
This one is more of like a horror-based. Yul Brynner plays a cowboy who's dressed up just like he is in Magnificent Seven.
Yep.
And he walks around as kind of like this slasher character, kind of following this guy through the different worlds.
Westworld was an inspiration for John Carpenter to do Halloween.
Oh,
it was
really?
Black Christmas and Westworld.
It's in his shows in this movie. The way, especially the way he walks.
Yeah.
And he never runs.
Yeah.
Same with why am I drawing a blank on his name? Michael Myers. Thank you. And that's all I got for honorable mentions.
Nice. Well, I didn't prepare this list. I know. I'm the one who came up with it, but I didn't.
This is becoming a trend.
It's becoming a trend because I'm so busy all the time.
I know.
And I wasn't as busy when we first started doing it. That's why I would do it, but I've just been so busy.
Well, we're coming to an end on these lists.
That's true. That is.
And God, if you don't participate in the top 50, that'll be real sad.
Oh no, I got you. I got you. I'm looking at a list right now, and I had my number 5. Where was it? My number 5 is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Great film. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's so mainstream. Actually, no, it's not mainstream. It seems mainstream because us as film fans love that film. It's a total cult film.
Yeah.
It's a total cult film. It's one of the best comedies ever made. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I feel bad for you because it's hilarious. There was a part where they would run out of budget during the making of this film, and they would take that and use it as a way to just create more jokes. And that is just hilarious. Yeah. It's British comedy done right. And British comedy nowadays is actually very different than what it was portrayed as in Holy Grail. It's amazing. And I really like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So that's my number 5.
Nice. My number 5 is, it's kind of hard to say if this is a cult film. It definitely has a big following, but it's the newest one on this list. And I definitely need to rewatch it. That's why it's on here. It's Cloud Atlas.
Okay.
Cloud Atlas is, I mean, Wachowskis are really hit or miss for a lot of people, but I know a lot of people that love this movie and a lot of people that just think it's complete trash.
Yeah.
My dad fell asleep during it.
My friend Nick is his favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of them, yeah.
It's very good. I just really like the storytelling of this movie.
That's the one with all the different lives, right?
Yeah, and every single person plays a different role.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the good guys, sometimes they're the villain, sometimes they're the side character, and that's like.
Sometimes they change gender, change race. It's like it's crazy.
And yes, kind of a brilliant movie. I definitely need to rewatch it though, but I'm sure that I will still like it.
Sweet. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
My number 4, it might surprise you. It's Lost Boys. Joel Schumacher's Lost Boys.
Good movie.
Such a good movie. It does not get the reputation it deserves. Do you like Lost Boys?
No. I
thought you were like, yes.
That's
Lost Boys.
Yeah, like
it's a horror movie, right? It's a horror movie.
It's like a horror comedy kind of film. It's a total product of its time.
Vampire, werewolves.
It's vampires. And Joel Schumacher directed it, and this is one of his good films. And you know what? I'll just throw in Phone Booth as an honorable mention too, because that's another good cult movie. With it's kind of got a cult following over the years. But Lost Boys is such a product of its time, but that just adds to the charm of the movie.
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland is in it, and he does an amazing job, as well as Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. They're also in it, the two Coreys. And that's when they were 80s.
Both dead? No, one of them.
No, one of them died.
Feldman.
No, Haim died.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. This is when they were like the kids they were like the heartthrobs, and it came out in 1987, and it's a good vampire film. I remember watching it in Greece actually, and it was just like it stuck with me. I was like, damn, like this is sick.
Yeah.
Like this.
You went to Greece?
Yeah, I've been there like 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Greek. My dad was born there. I might edit that part out. I don't want people knowing my full name.
Sorry, I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good.
Some of this stuff's not clicking with me. Like I'm spoiling shit. I'm getting your personal information out of there.
No, it's all good. What's your credit card?
Social security number?
Yeah. Is that Greek?
I'm gonna. Holy shit. My number 4. Wait, is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, my number 4. For all of the great people that are in this movie is like underappreciated. We watched it together. Glenn Ross.
Oh yeah.
So
always
good.
ABC. Always be closing.
Always be closing. Coffee is for closers. That entire Alec Baldwin scene is what got me hooked on it. I'm like, I need to watch. So I started watching it, and I'm like, wow, this has got a great cast: Al Pacino, Ed Harris, Jack Lemmon.
He got nominated for that.
Yeah. That was I think it was his last role. You know, they called it "Death of a Fucking Salesman" during the shooting.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like, this is just a bunch of. It's "Death of a Salesman," but with just a bunch of curse words.
Right. Oh my god.
So, I watched that scene, and I'm like, Colin, you need to watch this with me. This scene is amazing. So I showed him the scene, and he ended up watching the movie with me. Definitely didn't like it as much as me, but I love this movie, and it's based on a play, and it definitely shows like later on in the film. But you would never know it.
Yeah, now that you say that, it does have the play elements to it. It's very got a small set.
Yeah, it takes place basically in just like 2 different places.
The Chinese food place, and the actual firm. Yeah,
it's just unfortunate because this movie did not make its money back. It did not do so hot, but I love this movie. It is funny as fuck. You should watch it.
Nice. All right, what is it? My number 3.
Yeet.
My number.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm done.
My number 3 is Evil Dead. Evil Dead 1 and 2. I love Sam Raimi. I love his sensibility when it comes to horror films, and this is like I guess besides Lost Boys, I was gonna say this is my first horror film on the list, but it's actually.
Does he not direct movies anymore?
You know, that's funny you say that because we literally.
He produces a lot of movies.
He produces.
Okay.
He just produced Crawl that just came out.
Okay.
But he needs to do another film. He was my number one on our list for top directors who need to make another film because he's been attached to so many things that just haven't come out. He was supposed to do Warcraft. Supposed to do like a movie based on that series that you like, whatever that one series.
I can't remember already.
Yeah, you're like, what? When I told you.
Yeah, I'd probably do that again too if I heard it. If I heard it for the first time.
There's a lot of like comic book movies he's attached to that just don't.
No, just movies in general, really. He had a film called World War III, which was adapted from a book. That didn't end up getting made. He had a film about the Bermuda Triangle, which was a cool idea where everything that vanished during the Bermuda Triangle would basically be placed on like one island. So it was like an island with all these different
that would have been real
where
cool.
like time stood still and like all these people would and by Sam Raimi, that would have been sick.
Yeah.
And so Evil Dead is a really good cult classic horror film. He's so underrated, dude.
Yeah, to the cult.
Even his honorable mention, his western. What was it called? I can't remember for some reason. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sharon Stone. Frick, why can't I remember?
I don't remember.
It was a western he did. It was really good.
I don't think I even saw it.
Yeah, it was really good. And so
my number 3, you know, I know you don't really care for this movie all that much, but like, how have we never talked about this movie? Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
I love Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like the first time I saw that movie, I was just really confused, and I'm like, it has some funny moments here and there, but like the structure is just so weird. And then like when it got to a certain point, it all just kind of clicked to me. And I like the film a lot more, especially on the second viewing. And I do like this movie. I love this movie. I probably don't love it as much as other people because people think it's the greatest film of all time.
Yep.
It's like number 8 on like IMDb's greatest movies. I don't like it that much, but I do love this movie.
For being one of the most like famous cult movies ever, his Chuck Palahniuk's novels have not made good movies after that. He's the guy who wrote the original Fight Club.
Okay. What did he do any other?
He did Fight Club 2.
That were adapted.
Comic book.
I'll have to look it up real quick. I know he's done a few. I'll get back to you on that.
That movie's it's funny to me, dude. I haven't fucked like that since grade school. Like lines like that.
You know that wasn't the original line?
What was it?
The original line was, "I want to have your abortion."
Whoa.
And they cut it. They're like, you can't say that.
Whoa.
You can't say that.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, it's messed up.
He had Choke, which is a black comedy, which is written and directed by Clark Gregg.
Yep, I remember that.
With Sam Rockwell. He had, I think, Invisible Monsters was also. Yeah, Invisible Monsters.
I don't even know if is that a movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a movie that's not in print. It's like in development
health.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Fight Club.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, what do you really need to say about that?
All right. My number 2. The Room.
There it is.
This is the epitome of the so bad it's good film. It's between this and Troll 2. I'll probably put him. I'll put Troll 2 as an honorable mention. I'll put Troll 2 as an honorable mention because they're both so hilarious. But Troll 2 is very culty, but it's kind of meant to be culty. The Room is great because of how good, or not how good, because of how much Tommy Wiseau actually thinks it's a good movie. Like, he actually tried to make a good film.
Yeah.
Like, Troll 2 kind of seems like it's in on the joke. The best cult films to me, or so bad it's good films, are films that where they actually did try. Like, you know what I always say? I always say if Batman and Robin was a parody, that film would have been genius. But because it's not a parody and they actually tried to make like a legit Batman movie, that's what makes it so bad it's good.
Did you ever watch his other Tommy Wiseau's other recent Best
Friends?
Yeah,
Best Friends. Yeah, I saw them. I saw them both.
Were they good?
They actually are pretty good.
Same kind of bad.
No, actually, they actually tried to make like a good film again. There are some like hints toward The Room where they give like little winks to the audience. Like there's a part where they pick up a basketball and start passing it back and forth instead of like a football. But the second part is much better than the first part, and they're actually kind of competent films, believe it or not. It's not directed by Tommy Wiseau. It's directed by someone.
Did he write them though? Or he started them?
Greg Sestero wrote them. Tommy Wiseau only stars in it.
Okay.
And
Shark movie too.
now that's a Tommy Wiseau movie, and I cannot wait for that.
What movie? It's like a shark.
It's just called Big Shark, I think is what it's called.
It's ridiculous.
It looks so dumb.
Trailer.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But this movie really does epitomize the whole so bad it's good film. People love, like, it has its cult following, its cult fan base. They go to like screenings of this. Same with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's number one on everyone's list, but I have yet to see it. This is like, come on, dude. The Room is great. I have a T-shirt of it. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's quotable. The joke has kind of run its course a little bit, but if I had to pick one film, the whole so bad it's good cult status genre, this had to be on there.
Yeah.
So.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is The Fall.
The Fall. Tarsem Singh.
Tarsem Singh, who's never made another good movie again, apparently.
No, I saw Immortals, and that was brutal to sit through.
The visuals good, at least?
It was 300. It was just trying to be 300.
Oh,
it was one of those movies, again, where they were just trying to be 300.
Well, it's weird, because this movie's completely different than that. There's, like, really no CG to this movie. It's actually, like, a lot of practical stuff.
Uh-huh.
You got really eccentric costume design, really great color palettes, and the film was it was filmed in over 20 different countries, so you get a little bit of, like, you know, visual background, like landscape shots that are from like all over the place, and that really just adds to it, to its world building. Because like, I think it's really cool how they do the narrative in this film. Like, it's a story that's being told in a hospital to this little girl, and sometimes she'll hijack the story and she'll be like, no, it's taking place here or whatever, and so the camera will pan up to the sky, and then like it'll go back down, it'll be like a different country. It's like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah. I've seen the transitions, and they're really cool.
Yeah, it's a fucking phenomenal movie. You know it's good because it was, you know who presented this film?
Steven Soderbergh?
It was Spike Jonze and David Fincher.
David Fincher, okay.
Both slapped their name on it, and that just goes to show you like
okay, that's what
how much faith that they had in this film, and it's brilliant. I think like everyone who's seen it has loved it, but it is very like
artsy,
under the radar.
Yeah, very under the radar.
Yeah, which is a damn shame.
Yeah,
because Lee Pace's performance is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
it's actually the reason that he landed Ronin.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, love The Fall. Thank you, Brian, for showing it to me.
All right, Brian mentioned again. Speaking of Brian, my number 1 is actually a poster on his wall.
Oh. RoboCop.
Nope. Close.
Has he added more since I was over there last?
Mad Max?
Nope. Those are both cult films though, and I love them both. Shit. But
is it a Western?
It's not a Western. I'll give you another hint. It's another Sam Raimi movie.
Darkman?
Darkman, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I know. That's why I didn't. Yeah, that's why I didn't even acknowledge it. Oh, by the way, Quick and the Dead. That's his Western film. Quick and the Dead. Yeah. Dude, Sam Raimi is just the king of cult films, I guess, because he got 2 films on this list. Darkman is so good, and the reason Darkman's number 1 as opposed to Evil Dead is because Evil Dead's cult following is huge, while Darkman's cult following is actually very small.
What was Darkman? Because what superhero did he actually want to do? Or did he just want to make an original superhero?
I think he probably just wanted to do an original superhero.
I thought he wanted to do like Batman or something like that.
Which is weird because he, like, if I heard correctly, Brian told me that the film came before the comics.
Yes. It was an original character by Sam Raimi.
That's great.
Which is awesome. It might have been like a Batman, because I did hear that he wanted to do something, but they told him no, so he just made his own.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Liam Neeson is the main character who plays Darkman, and he does an absolutely fantastic job. This film, I used to watch it like a ton as a kid. I used to watch it with my dad all the time. I was actually Darkman for Halloween in 7th grade, and nobody knew who I was. Everyone was like, Invisible Man? I'm like, nope. And even that, even that I was kind of impressed. I'm like, oh, at least you know who that is.
Invisible Man, can you see me?
Yeah, it's like, does Invisible Man wear a... Well, I guess he does. Does Invisible Man wear... I don't have glasses on, okay? No, yeah, Darkman is great, dude. It's total Sam Raimi. It's total like his vibe, and it's so culty. I love it.
Oh yeah, it was the Shadow and Batman.
That's what it was.
The Shadow Alec Baldwin?
No, just the Shadow was a
His
comic
name
book
a collection
character.
of serialized dramas.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he play Alec Baldwin play?
He does. They eventually made a Shadow movie, which I think Brian actually likes.
Yeah, he likes that one.
Yeah. He also likes The Spirit.
Yeah, he does, which I hear is not good.
Dude, it's so bad.
I just like on a whim bought some of those comics. I haven't even.
Oh, really?
Read them, really.
Which ones?
Just some like collection.
Nice.
Spirit.
Ooh, Spirit, yeah. The movie goes completely against what The Spirit is. Like, Frank Miller directed The Spirit. It's his only movie he's ever directed, and he made it Sin City. It's like, why are you taking The Spirit and trying to make it Sin City?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. You know, another movie that he had on there that I was going to guess was Dick Tracy. Which I haven't
Dick
seen
Tracy,
yet.
yeah. That's another good one. I like Dick Tracy. Warren Beatty. No,
He's got some good posters.
He does, dude. He really has his type of movie, though, on
Yeah.
there, and that's great. That's total Brian.
Wears it on his sleeve.
Yeah. And, but yeah, Darkman is absolutely fantastic. I remember I got so obsessed with this, I bought the comics. I still have them. I got Darkman versus Evil Dead, or Darkman versus Army of Darkness, and they're great, where Darkman actually meets Ash, and they have, like, adventures. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And Darkman is, it's a movie that definitely gets overlooked and definitely needs to be more appreciated.
Yeah. My number one movie, you're not that big of a fan of. I love this movie. It's
Kung Fu Hustle.
It's American Psycho.
American Psycho. Oh yeah.
I love this movie. It's so fun. I love the quirks of this film. Like, have you ever seen or have you ever listened to Huey Lewis in the News? Right before he kills people, he just says that line, and he just goes such a deep understanding of like the music too, which is so good. I love that, and so many great scenes in this movie. The business card scene, the cat with the ATM. I just think this movie's hilarious, and it's so narcissistic. It's a great portrayal, a very exaggerated portrayal of like Wall Street people. But yeah, that's another one that's really big. So it really doesn't really need that much explanation.
Nice. Yeah.
This was a long ass podcast.
It was. You already know how I feel about American Psycho.
I know you do.
It was my number something on top 5 films that everyone loves that I don't.
Yep.
And
it's not on mine.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. All right. That was it.
So yeah, it was a good episode. Long one though. Long fucking episode.
So
but
long.
It should not be that way again. I mean, we had 2 weeks of content.
Yeah, I think it's my fault because I like to get off topic.
No, we had some good combos.
That was good, man.
It was a good episode. Thank you for joining us, Mark.
Yes, absolutely.
And are you looking? I have a feeling I know what you're doing right now.
No, I'm actually not. I'm texting my boss back.
Well then,
tell him I said what's up.
Mark says what's up.
I'm trying to look at these and be like, hey, what should I?
Oh yeah, I have no idea, dude. There's like nothing.
Oh man, I don't know.
I get. What? Hit me.
No, I was just like, I thought it'd be funny to do the one that I just said earlier from Fight Club.
Yeah, let's do it.
I haven't fucked like that since grade 6.
I thought you were gonna be like, the first rule about Fight Club is we don't talk about. That would have been so much better.
Damn, dude.